Chapter 1309. Human Territory, Primal Region. Luo Feng sat cross-legged in a high-level palace. There were no obstructions on all sides. He could see the distant, endless space and the other majestic palaces and buildings. To prepare for the upcoming battle, Luo Feng had been giving it his all to train. However, maybe one could only say that this bottleneck couldn't be rushed. Breaking through this bottleneck could be done by watching the universe change, or fighting against a strong warrior, or even during teleportation. Regardless, there's always a chance to comprehend and break through. Luo Feng quickly come to the main palace. The vast thousand-treasure river spread out, covering a few light years. The voice immediately resounded in his mind. "Teacher." Luo Feng opened his eyes fiercely. "The battle is here?" Luo Feng didn't hesitate, immediately standing up. Shua. He teleported and vanished. Within the silent palaces, there were many powerful alien race existences living within. They were either like a mountain range, or they were completely green and resemble meatballs. Only their godly bodies had pairs of eyes that made one's heart tremble, or, in any case, these alien universe lords were not far from each other. They were all scattered around the main palace of the primal Chaos City Lord. They too were waiting for the battle to arrive. They too were clear on the danger of joining the battle. However, the danger and rewards corresponded, joining the human camp. As long as the human camp could become the third sacred land universe, then at least their own races would be allocated a portion of space to inherit. These upper echelons of universe lords would be able to survive for a long time. Plus, the humans would also give them a portion of the universe lords to the strongest warriors' experience. They were clear. The humans couldn't possibly tell them everything. Maybe compared to what they knew, they only knew 10%, maybe even 1% or less. However, this was better than not knowing anything. As long as they knew a portion, it would be of great benefit to them. For the race, the universe lords were all the same. When it was time to fight, they rushed in. There were many benefits, but at the same time, in this battle, there was the danger of dying. Universe lords quickly come to the main palace. As the thousand-treasure river spread out, the primal Chaos City leader's voice resounded in the ears of all the universe lords. "They're here. They're finally here. Battle." The foreign universe lords waited for a while. All of them were either excited, nervous, or mad. However, they were all prepared, after which they all teleported primitive secret realm, primal Chaos City, Lord's main palace. One figure after another appeared out of thin air, and the number of experts gathered continued to increase. 60, 70, 80, 90. In just a moment, all of them had arrived, and the entire hall returned to silence. Everyone. The primal Chaos City Master stood on the stairs and looked down. At this moment, he didn't sit on the throne. There were many experts standing below. Some were from the human clan, some were from the Hong Alliance, and some were from other clans. Of course, from the moment they joined, the other clans automatically became a part of the Hong Alliance. Among the large group of super beings standing in front of the First Majesty, the one standing at the very front was the silver-armored, silver-winged, and blade-wielding Luo Feng. The chubby Pengongzi with the Yanjun rod in his hand was Pengongzi, the black-robed master of darkness, exuding the aura of nirvanic extermination. The demon race, the insect race, and the machine race have made their move. The city lord of primal chaos said solemnly. Furthermore, the three races have already gathered together. Clearly, after being taught a harsh lesson by us last time and losing 6 masters of the universe, none of the 3 races dare to attack the human domain alone. They are so scared that they can only work together. A smile immediately appeared on the faces of the experts below. Right? So what if they were from the 3 races? They were still so scared that they could only work together. At this time, they have already gathered. I reckon they will move very soon. The primal Chaos City Master gazed at the Universe Lords. Right now, we will follow our earlier plan. This battle, all the participating Universe Lords, other than the Milky Way leader, Darkness leader, and Pungongzi leader who have the right to move. The rest are all within the Black Prison Tower. Many of the universe lords below revealed relaxed expressions. The Black Prison Tower was an extremely powerful treasure. Within the Black Prison Tower, their safety would naturally increase exponentially. Of course, during a real battle, they naturally couldn't hide within the tower, otherwise, how would they attack? They had to reach the exit of the Black Prison Tower. Without any obstructions, only then could they attack the outside world. If they could attack the outside world could naturally attack them too. However, since they were at the exit, they could naturally hide deep within. At least it was better than being in space without any barriers. Darkness Leader. The Primal Chaos City Master looked at his junior. The Darkness Leader nodded and extended his hand. A black pyramid appeared in his palm. Black Prison Tower? The other universe lords all looked over, their eyes gleaming. This was an extremely powerful treasure. How could these random races have the right to obtain such a treasure? Go! The Darkness Leader willed, and immediately the Black Prison Tower floated to the center of the hall. It swiftly grew larger and taller, becoming a majestic pyramid. Beside the pyramid, 3 side doors appeared simultaneously. These absolute treasures had side doors and main doors. Just like the first level of the Star Tower, there were large amounts of side doors too. Simultaneously, the base could form a huge abyss that swallowed everything. Just like the tomb boat, the bottom of the ship could also form a huge entrance. However, as the tomb boat didn't have the ability to swallow, hence it always used the side doors. Everyone go in, the Primal Chaos City Master said. With that order, the Human Dragon Leader, Ice Peak Leader, Desolate Mirror Leader, and the others all walked in without hesitation. The other universe lords hesitated for a moment and exchanged glances. However, they all walked in too. Within moments, only the Black Prison Tower, Primal Chaos, Luo Feng, Darkness, and Pungong were left in the hall. Darkness, there are a total of 21 original members of my Great Alliance. The new ones are 70, a total of 91. I'll leave them to you to lead. The Primal Chaos City Master emphasized, this will be the most important force. With the 91 of them joining hands, any strongest warrior in the universe will be blown away. How they split up, how they attack, how they defend, it's all up to you. HM, the Darkness Leader nodded. Without saying much, he entered the Black Prison Tower. He was the controller of the Black Prison Tower. Hence, he could control the other races. Because the moment anyone dared to mess around, the Darkness Leader could lock them up in the Black Prison Tower forever. Even if they wanted to escape, they wouldn't be able to escape the swallowing power of the ultimate treasure. In this battle, the Darkness Leader's main task was to manage the 91 Universe Lords. Actually, the chances of the other races escaping at the crucial moment wasn't high, because out of the 92 that had joined before, only 70 were participating in the battle. The other 22 were in the Primal Universe. They were basically hostages. For example, a race had 3 Universe Lords, 2 in the battlefield and 1 in the Primal Universe. And the human race's excuse was naturally, for the survival of these races, they would try their best to share the risk. The other races knew the reason for the humans' actions and wouldn't reject. Actually, the demon race, automaton race, bug race did the same thing. Luo Feng, Pungong, I'll leave the rest of you too. The Primal Chaos City Leader looked at Luo Feng and Pungong. Luo Feng and Pungong nodded, after which Luo Feng waved his hand and immediately a ship landed within the main palace. It was the tomb boat. Let's go, Luo Feng said. He and Pungong immediately flew into the tomb boat. Let's go. Head to the headquarters of the virtual universe and wait there. The Primal Chaos City Leader ordered. Rumble, rumble. The Black Prison Tower and tomb boat both teleported and vanished. The virtual universe headquarters was originally where many domain lords, sector lords, and undyings of the virtual universe company gathered, while the primal region was even more secretive. Of the two, one was public and the other was secretive. One dealt with the basic matters, The other nurtured the core geniuses and dealt with the upper echelons. Along with the primal region, they both had a path to the primal universe. It was also a place that humanity had to protect. If the enemy were to attack, they would probably attack either the virtual universe headquarters or the primal region. And these two places had long since established stable god country paths. If the enemy were to attack the primal region, they could immediately return. A black pyramid and an ancient spaceship floated in the air of the virtual universe base. Luo Feng, are you nervous? Peng Gong smiled. Of course I am. Luo Feng let out a breath, looking at Peng Gong beside. This is the three-race alliance, and according to the reports, when a portion of the idol races join us, there are also others who join the three great races. And there's also the four strongest warriors. After all, when it comes to a real battle, the strongest warriors have an advantage over us. This was because the strongest experts had Type 7 or even Type 8 combat strength. It was only because of the primal universe's suppression that they were at the pinnacle of level 6. Hence they could split their minds, controlling long-range attacks and close combat, simultaneously unleashing their pinnacle of level 6 strength. They could totally fight 1 against 2. This was completely reflected during the battle with the demon race. And the automaton godfather and bug queen, just one-on-one, they're stronger than the demon race Zhun and Meng. Luo Feng said softly, "This battle won't be easy. We still have a sliver of hope of winning." Peng Gong said. Luo Feng nodded. However, Luo Feng's heart was still heavy, because the automaton godfather and bug queen were both experts in group battles. Their methods were unpredictable. Just by looking at the automaton and bug race's battle style, one could tell a thing or two. Luo Feng, Peng Gong, darkness, these are the coordinates. The three-race alliance has just arrived from the god country. Within the virtual universe, the primal chaos city leader immediately informed the three. Understood. Got it. Let's go. Luo Feng and the other two immediately focused, no longer distracted. Shua, Shua. The black pyramid and the ancient ship, one in front and one behind, teleported one after the other towards the coordinates. The coordinates were extremely close to the virtual universe headquarters. Luo Feng and the others only needed to teleport 300 light years or so to reach there. In the distance, there was a quiet desert planet. Beside the desert planet, there was a dim star that was emitting red light that was in its final phase. In this part of the starry sky, the gigantic purple sphere, the ancient battleship, and the oval-shaped black sphere all hovered in the void, emanating boundless might that caused space and time to warp. Even the stars in the distance began to tremble under this might and began to undergo drastic changes. Rumble, rumble. The ancient ship and the black pyramid appeared simultaneously. The three-race alliance, the human alliance, gathered in this space. If you like this work, please come Achidian. Come to vote for me. Your support is my greatest motivation. Chapter 13:10. On the three-clan alliance's side, a beautiful silhouette flew out of the huge purple ball. The two huge beings flew out of the ancient ship too. The black ball, however, didn't move at all. Just the presence of these three strongest existences alone caused the distortion of space and time to intensify. The distant desert planets and stars and the final stages of the universe instantly exploded like fireworks. On the side of the human camp, the cabin door of the tomb boat opened, and two figures flew out. They stood on the tomb boat and looked into the distance. One, the vast golden light mixed with the countless floating ice sand particles, appearing in every part of the battlefield, enveloping an area with a diameter of 10 light years. This was the Golden Country and Snow Sand Ocean. Even though the three clans were powerful, they didn't have any powerful domain treasures. They could only watch as Luo Feng displayed his power. Demon Ancestor Zhun, Dream Demon, we meet again. Peng Engineer looked at the enemy camp. His voice rumbled. With Luo Feng's help, his voice resounded throughout the entire domain. This must be the Bug Clan Queen. I've always heard that when the Bug Clan Queen battled in the Universe Ocean, she always hid within the Queen's nest. Many warriors said that the Bug Clan Queen was afraid of death, only daring to hide within the absolute treasure palace. However, today, she actually came out. It's truly rare. Looks like the outside world is wrong. The Bug Clan Queen isn't afraid of death at all. The Bug Clan Queen had an absolute treasure palace. It was called the Queen's Nest, also known as the Queen's Palace or the Queen's Palace, etc. Pung Engineer, you're wrong about this. The Bug Clan Queen is indeed afraid of death. Luo Feng mocked beside. It's just that the attacks in the primal universe are at most at the pinnacle of level 6. There's no danger to her life. Naturally, she's not afraid. So that's how it is. Pung Engineer shouted. The two echoed each other. Immediately, the human side laughed and roared. The three-clan alliance was obviously unhappy too. They actually dared to laugh at the Bug Clan Queen. However, they had no choice, as the entire domain was controlled by Luo Feng. Even if the three-clan alliance shouted, their voices wouldn't be able to spread. Automaton Godfather, you don't even have an absolute treasure palace. Why are you always hiding within that black ball? Pung Worker Lord shouted. It's best if you show yourself. Me, Luo Feng, Darkness, and the other universe lords have never seen your true appearance. It's definitely because it's too ugly. That's why it doesn't dare show itself. Luo Feng said confidently. He was furious. The three clans were enraged. Jinyao Ancestor, Dream Ancestor, Bug Clan Queen, and Automaton Ray's Father God understood that the enemy was intentionally provoking them, purposely making them hot-headed. However, they were still enraged. However, their voices couldn't be transmitted at all, no matter which one of them shouted. Luo Feng's domain forcefully stopped the seal. I'm not telling you. I won't let your voices spread. On the human side, Luo Feng and Pung Gong Lord were echoing each other, their voices resounding throughout the space and time around every warrior for both sides. The shouts and shouts from the three-clan alliance, however, were completely blocked, unable to be transmitted at all. Kill! What a bully! He didn't even give her a chance to explain herself. The first to lose control was the machine race's godfather. The noble machine race's godfather was incomparably respected by every machine race powerhouse. In fact, if the machine race's universe lords were to die, no one would disobey. Under such an environment, how proud was the machine race's godfather? However, right now he was being mocked by Luo Feng, and Pung Gong Lord is ugly. Naturally, he was enraged. Since he couldn't explain himself, he would use his fist to explain himself. Bang! 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 That huge black oval ball suddenly shot out many crooked silhouettes. A total of 10,081 crooked silhouettes immediately rushed towards the tomb boat. Each of these stooped figures was over 10,000 kilometers tall, and their bodies were made of metal. They had 8 metal arms and 2 metal legs. At the same time, their waists were stooped, and there were also braids on their heads that hung around them. The machine race godfather is enraged. Pung Gong Lord was shocked. He communicated to Luo Feng beside. This machine race godfather's puppet army actually has 10,081. According to our data, when the machine race god father roamed the universe ocean, his strongest explosion was only 9,000 puppets. Very simple. Luo Feng communicated seriously. In the universe ocean, the environment is extremely dangerous. The strongest warriors of the other universes aren't to be messed with. If they were to fight, they might even lose a few puppets. Every single one of them is extremely valuable, even more valuable than a normal treasure. That machine race god father couldn't bear to part with them. And in the primal universe battles, the strongest is only at the pinnacle of level 6. He doesn't have to worry about losing his puppets, hence naturally he'll go all out. Luo Feng stared at the incoming puppet army. As the distance between the two camps was relatively far, even if they flew at light speed, it would still take a while. Luo Feng wasn't in a rush. Automaton race god father. This machine race god father should be using the ancient civilization's machine race's sea of tactics. Luo Feng thought. He had received the inheritance of the Duandong River and had read through a large amount of information. Naturally, he understood a lot about the automaton flow. Compared to the ancient civilization's automaton flow, the automaton race's godfather's methods were still considered very low-end. As the machine race godfather couldn't create machines that were too strong, hence he could only rely on quantity to make up for it. As the machine race had the ability to be duplicated, hence it was suitable for the sea of tactics. However, the truly high-level beings, the elites of the machine race, would usually create something like the tomb boat or even the universe boat, these types of individual yet extremely powerful mechanical treasures. Even though it's low-end, in the ancient civilization, those powerful beings could easily wipe them out. However, in the universe C, especially in the primal universe, I really have no way of dealing with them. The machine race godfather is also a living AI, and he's able to utilize the sea of tactics to its limits. Luo Feng's head hurt. He knew with one look. These 10081 puppets, the materials used were all extremely valuable. He estimated they were at least at the pinnacle of treasures. Even though the materials used for each puppet weren't much, the puppets themselves were very small, but with the use of God energy, they could become big or small, like the tomb boat, treasures, etc. Adding them together, they were probably close to the value of an absolute treasure. Fighting, it wouldn't break. Using the Star Pagoda to absorb, Black Prison Pagoda absorption, under the automaton race godfather's full control, the 10,081 puppets were able to work together as one, easily breaking free from the absorption energy. If it could be easily absorbed, the automaton race godfather wouldn't have relied on this technique to roam the universe C, losing so few puppets. Enter the dark universe. Luo Feng communicated. All right, Peng Engineer replied. In the distance, the Darkness Lord received the news too. Rumble, rumble, rumble. The tomb boat and Black Prison Pagoda both shot up to light speed and entered the dark universe. I knew they were going to enter the dark universe. Ancestor Jean roared. Enter the dark universe. My God, he could finally transmit his voice. Dark universe. The strongest warriors of the universe could all reach 10 to 100 times the speed of light. Hence, battling them in the actual universe space was very disadvantageous. Luo Feng and his human faction didn't even have a single strongest warrior in the universe. Naturally, they chose to enter the dark universe. And after entering the dark universe, they could choose to stop at a crucial moment and immediately return to the actual universe. Bang, 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 bang. Luo Feng, Peng Engineer, and the others had just entered the dark universe. Not even a second had passed before the grand puppet army appeared. Howl, howl. Every single puppet let out a howl. At the same time, every single one of them burned with God energy to control them. Just like how Luo Feng and the others controlled their spirit weapons, the automaton race godfather used this method to control his puppet army. And as a living AI that had developed to the pinnacle, the one and only strongest being, his multitasking ability was unparalleled in the universe C. Like Babada, this kind of living AI, even when he was weak, his calculation ability was already extremely strong. Once he became an undying, his calculation ability would far surpass the other undying races, much less the only automaton race godfather. Even if he used 1% of his control ability, it would still surpass the other strongest races in the universe. Hence, the 10081 puppets, every single one of them seemed to have their own souls, swiftly splitting into two groups and surrounding Luo Feng and Peng Worker. Rumble, about 5,000 puppets simultaneously threw a punch at Luo Feng. Every punch was exquisite beyond compare. Mixing together, it formed a majestic punch that destroyed the land and skies. The power was so strong that it made Luo Feng's expression change. He didn't even dare to take it head-on. Even though his armor was the Mad Demon Destroyer armor, his body was after all weaker than the other elite universe lords by over 100 times. Block! Luo Feng didn't even have time to enter the tomb boat. Even the blood shadow blade in his hand immediately became huge. Like a huge blade, it blocked in front of him. Break! Not far away, Peng Engineer roared and waved the Yin Jun rod in his hand, fighting attack with attack. Rumble, rumble. Both of them were hit at the same time. Both of them retreated a few steps on the tomb boat. In terms of defense, Peng Engineer's Yin Jun rod extended to form an armor that wasn't any weaker than the Mad Demon Destroyer armor. Plus, Peng Engineer was a universe lord that was 10,000 times stronger. His body's defense was actually even stronger than Luo Feng's. Even though the power is strong, it's not that sick. Peng Engineer communicated to Luo Feng. Just taking an attack from about 5,000 puppets doesn't even feel like it's at the pinnacle of level 6. If it was a pinnacle level 6 attack, Luo Feng and Yin Jun should have been knocked back, not retreating a few steps. It's not as strong as expected. I estimate that even with 10,000 puppets added together, it's only comparable to a pinnacle level 6. Luo Feng communicated. Looks like this is the primal universe's suppression. If just relying on one mind to multitask and allowing everyone to unleash their full power, then the primal universe's suppression would be useless. Looks like the threat of the ocean tactic is limited. Peng Engineer let out a sigh of relief. Late tomorrow at 5. Begging for recommendation votes. Monday begging for recommendation votes. I strongly request for recommendation votes to comfort my heart at 5. Asterisk, to be continued. If you like this work, you're welcome to come to Chidian. Come and vote. Your support is my biggest motivation. Chapter 1311. The strength unleashed by over 10,000 puppets made even the automaton god Father feel unsatisfied. If it was in the universe ocean, even the strongest warriors of the universe wouldn't dare take this attack of mine head-on. Damn primal universe will. It actually forcefully suppressed every single one of my puppets to such a low level. Whatever, I'll just hold them back. In the original plan, the automaton godfather had long guessed the power he could unleash. Hence, he planned to deal with the Darkness Lord and Peng Worker 1 versus 2. However, with the Darkness Lord hiding within the Black Prison Pagoda, he could only deal with Luo Feng and Peng Worker. Even though I can't suppress them, I'm 100% confident in trapping them. The automaton godfather gazed into the distance. Hua, hua. The vast puppet army covered the sky and land, immediately engulfing the space where Luo Feng and Peng Gong's lord were at. These powerful puppets supported each other, madly surrounding Luo Feng and Peng Gong's lord. This caused Luo Feng and Peng Gong to feel as if they had fallen into a spider's web. No matter how hard they tried, they cannot break free. Damn puppets! Peng Worker roared. The Yin Jun rod in his hand howled and swept through the 10 million kilometers area around him. Get lost! The blood shadow blade in Luo Feng's hand also swung out. Wherever the blood shadow blade passed, the puppets were directly thrown into the air. Then, compared to the puppets that surrounded him in all directions, only an extremely small portion of the puppets were thrown into the air, and the other puppets immediately took their place. Wave after wave. Furthermore, every single puppet was indestructible, causing Luo Feng and Master Peng Gong to be completely surrounded by over 10,000 puppets. They were unable to charge out. While he's weak, take his life. Zhen Jiao, Dream Tea, Empress, you three stay alert of that Black Prison Pagoda. The other universe lords separately attack Luo Feng and Peng Worker. The automaton god Father ordered. All right, if we can kill either Luo Feng or Peng Worker, our chances of winning this battle will greatly increase. Suddenly, a huge abyss appeared in the Queen's palace. At the mouth of the abyss stood many figures. They were the lords of the universe of the insectoid race, as well as a large number of alien lords of the universe. At the same time, a hole appeared in the oval-shaped black sphere of the machine race's godfather. Numerous lords of the universe appeared. The doors of the ships beside demon ancestor Zhen Ming opened, and lords of the universe appeared one after another. Attack! 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 Among the 112 lords of the universe, some of them had clones and had brought them along. Hence, there were more than 120 lords of the universe's godly bodies. Moreover, They were all using their own techniques. In an instant, there were many treasured weapons, illusory attacks, soul attacks, and even material attacks. Their methods were also different. The bug race lords of the universe summoned large batches of bug race warriors, while the machine race lords of the universe also summoned a batch of powerful puppets. These two clans were actually using a C tactic. Bang, 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 blotting out the sky and covering the earth. It was so powerful that it made everyone tremble. Even the hearts of the demon ancestor dream, the machine race's father, and the bug race's queen trembled. It was really, really too powerful. In the primal universe, there had never been such a terrifying scene of so many universe lords attacking together. Not good. Luo Feng's expression changed in shock. We're in big trouble. Peng Gong's leader shouted. Hurry and help. Luo Feng communicated to the Darkness Lord. Not far away, the Black Prison Tower floated. A huge abyss appeared beneath it, and at the edge of the abyss, large amounts of powerful silhouettes appeared. Including the humans, there were a total of 91 universe lords. In terms of their godly bodies, there were over 100. When Luo Feng and Peng Gong's leader were trapped, they knew something was wrong. However, they didn't expect the enemy to be so decisive. The combined attack of over 100 universe lords attacked the group of universe lords at the entrance to the female palace. Darkness Lord immediately ordered. Under the order, they all unleashed their techniques. In an instant, over 100 universe lord bodies all unleashed their powerful techniques, sweeping towards the female palace. In the primal universe space, both sides were far apart. However, in the dark universe, the distance was simply too close. The combined attack of the universe lords from the three clans immediately reached Luo Feng and Peng Gong's leader. Trapped by the large amounts of puppets and unable to dodge, Luo Feng and Peng Gong's expressions changed. Luo Feng, I'm afraid you won't be able to block it. Peng Gong communicated. If you can't block it, then don't block it. Luo Feng waved his hand. Rumble. The tomb boat that was kept after entering the dark universe immediately appeared before Luo Feng and Peng Gong's leader. Like a huge mountain, it blocked everything. Consecutive attacks landed on the tomb boat. However, there were still some soul attacks and hypnotism attacks that bypassed the boat and accurately landed on Luo Feng and Peng Gong's leader. Luo Feng and Peng Gong felt their minds being attacked over and over again. The Demon Destroyer armor can weaken the attacks, and I have a pinnacle soul treasure to protect my body. My willpower is so strong, yet I still feel so tired. It's too terrifying. And this is just a portion. Many of the energy attacks and spirit weapons are blocked by the tomb boat. If they were to land on me, Luo Feng was filled with fear. 10 universe lords working together, their powers stacked together, could form pinnacle level 6 power. This was the gathering of energy. A change in quantity would cause a change in quality. 1 plus 1 would produce an effect greater than 2. Like a pinnacle level SIXS power, it should be 10 times that of a pinnacle level 5's. However, some of the stronger universe lords, with 10 universe lords working together, the change in quality caused by their attacks would be able to reach pinnacle level 6. The combined might of over 100 universe lords far exceeded that of a tier 7, and was probably close to a tier 8. Luo Feng and Peng Gong's leader, would they dare to block it head-on? Even with the Blood Shadow Blade and Yin Jun Rod, even if they survived, their bodies would be heavily damaged. Rumble, 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 rumble. The powerful attacks gathered together and struck the tomb boat. Just the ripples that spread out made Luo Feng and Peng Gong's expressions change. This ripple's power probably exceeded the pinnacle of level 6. Enter. Luo Feng communicated. Simultaneously, the tomb boat's cabin door opened. This door was facing Luo Feng and Peng Gong. Luo Feng naturally had this in mind when he released the tomb boat. So, Luo Feng and Peng Gong immediately entered. Within the tomb boat, Luo Feng and Peng Gong were within the palace. Their vision wasn't obstructed by the tomb boat, and they could easily see the outside world. With a glance, the combined attacks of over 100 universe lords from the Three Alliance army covered the skies and land. However, at this time, Black Prison Pagoda 2 erupted with a similar terrifying combined attack. Boom! The destructive combined attack swept towards the distant Queen's Queen Palace and the numerous universe masters by the edge of the Great Abyss entrance. One had to know, although the Empress was a supreme treasure, during the battle, every master of the universe would stand at the exit. Unless they hid inside, they would be completely vulnerable to attacks. Block it, the automaton race Father God communicated. Leave it to me, a sharp voice resounded. A huge silver snake fiercely expanded, instantly reaching over 10 billion kilometers long. In the actual universe space, the Three Alliance army was very close to each other. In the Dark Universe, it was equivalent to being close together. At this time, Dream Monster's body expanded. Even without moving, it completely covered the surrounding Empress, automaton race Father God, Ancestor Jeune Monster, etc. This huge silver snake covered everything, coiling around and blocking the way. On the human side, those huge treasures and weapons, those powerful energy attacks couldn't be dodged and directly struck the huge silver snake. Boom! Demonic Ancestor Dream was bombarded and sent flying. She first knocked away the Empress, the mechanical race's godfather, and the others, and then flew far away. In an instant, she became a small dot in the field of vision, and then disappeared completely. Terrifying, Peng Gong exclaimed within the tomb boat. Really gutsy, Luo Feng complimented. The human side had over 100 universe lord-level god bodies attacking together. Even the automaton race Father God, Bug Race Queen, and Ancestor Jeune Monster wouldn't dare to simply block it. Only Monster Ancestor Dream, who had the most powerful armor, would dare to do so. However, even if she could block it, she could only unleash the pinnacle of level 6 strength. Hence, her resistance was naturally very weak. She was immediately sent flying far away. They weren't even on the same level. However, Luo Feng and Peng Gong understood. Even though they were sent flying far away, with their powerful armor and Monster Ancestor Dream's powerful body, it was impossible for them to survive. Even in the universe C, the strongest of the universe found it hard to hurt her. This attack naturally couldn't hurt her either. Attack! 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 With Ancestor Monster Dream acting as a buffer, all the masters of the universe in the allied camp of the three races immediately turned around and attacked the Black Prison Pagoda. And the universe lords from the human side within the Black Prison Pagoda too unleashed their attacks. Bang! 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 In an instant, the universe lords from both sides clashed. Absorb! That huge female emperor immediately produced a sky-shattering suction force. It swallowed the large group of universe lords from a human side, simultaneously swallowing the Black Prison Pagoda. However, these 100 godly bodies at the level of universe lords worked together, burning their divine power and easily withstanding the suction force. Even so, they did not dare to be careless. They were even more careful when defending against the attacks of the universe lords from the allied forces of the three races. Because the moment they couldn't block it and got hit, as long as they were dazed, they would be swallowed. Absorb. Darkness Lord 2 controlled the Black Prison Pagoda. The abyss of the Black Prison Pagoda 2 produced a sky-shattering suction force. It swallowed the large group of universe lords around the pagoda, as well as the Empress herself. 2 absolute treasure palaces. Black Prison Pagoda versus Empress. They were both swallowing each other. However, the absolute treasure palaces, unless there was a huge difference in power, it was very hard to swallow the other. Even if there was a huge difference in power between these two treasures, it still depended on whether the user could unleash it. Darkness Lord's Black Prison Pagoda and the Bug Queen's Empress's Empress were obviously on the same level. Both were unable to do anything to each other. Today's first chapter of the 5th chapter. For today's 5th chapter, I'll throw my recommendation votes. Recommendation votes. Rush to the top. Asterisk, asterisk, asterisk. To be continued. If you like this work, please come Achidian. Come to vote for me. Your support is my greatest motivation. Chapter 13:12. The Black Jail Pagoda and the Empress Palace, these two supreme treasures, exploded with a terrifying suction force. The universe lords of the two camps went berserk. Bang, 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 bang. Both sides were locked in combat. The Allied army had 112 universe lords. Including the doppelgangers, there were over 120 deity bodies. And the human camp had 92 universe lords, including the Lord of Darkness. Including the doppelgangers, there were over 100 of them. With so many universe lords gathered together, countless attacks gathered together. The energy level was constantly rising. Both sides' attacks were close to the rank 8 level, and the strongest of the universe was only at the peak of the rank 6 level. If they were hit, they would be sent flying far away. Kill these demons, Zerg, and automatons. I've never fought with the Zerg race masters of the universe before. So many of them attacking at the same time. This is too exhilarating. The universe lords were all fired up. When the hundreds of deity bodies unleashed their techniques at the same time, the area in front of them became an energy domain. It was like when the strongest experts in the universe ignited their deity power, causing their deity power to evaporate and expel the Golden Kingdom and Snow Sand Sea within a small area. There was no need to even mention the combined power of over 100 universe lords. Boom, boom. The enemy's frenzied attacks were rapidly consumed as they charged into this energy domain. Be it deity force attacks, soul attacks, illusion attacks. Before they could even touch the masters of the universe, they had been obliterated by their collective attacks. Too strong. The combined power of so many of us universe lords is simply too strong. This, even the strongest of the universe, is nothing. A top-grade supreme treasure would probably shatter under our combined attacks. Of course it would shatter. I don't know which idiot from the Allied army sent a saber light slashing through the void, but that supreme battle saber was shattered. Exhilarating. The universe lords from both camps were exhilarating. They were only universe lords after all. When could they ever unleash such power? Even the strongest beings in the universe had to step aside. This kind of monstrous attack was indeed filled with pleasure. The attacks that both sides unleashed would either be worn down by the enemy's attacks in the surrounding energy domains the moment they were unleashed. Some of them charged out of the energy domain and killed their way into the enemy camp, and were then destroyed within the enemy camp's energy domain. Although there were more than 100 godheads in the human camp, it was slightly less than the 3 races' allied forces. The main thing was that they defended more than they attacked. But at the very least, it was not a problem for him to put up a defense to block the attack. Let's attack together. The automaton race father god communicated that Luo Feng and Pungworker are so scared they're hiding in the tomb boat. Since they're not coming out, we'll just focus on the universe lords and attack. Jinjiao, Dream Tea, Empress, let's attack together and support our masters of the universe. All right, if we work together, our attack power will definitely break through to the 8th step or even higher. Take this opportunity to kill some of the masters of the universe, and we'll definitely win this battle. The 4 strongest warriors of the universe immediately made their decision. The over 10,000 automaton puppets in the dark universe space, even though they were surrounding the tomb boat, they couldn't do anything to it. Their entire puppet army didn't even bother with it. They all roared and opened their mouths, spitting out arcs of light. The 10,000 arcs of light all fused together. Finally, they converged into a sharp arc of light. Hua! The arc of light swept towards the black prison tower. Go! The mutated beast with a sawtooth shell, ancestral demon Jun, roared. A sharp all transformed into a dark storm and charged towards the black prison pagoda. Human, demon ancestor dream hissed, and a cyan shadow shot out from the mouth of the huge snakehead. Over at the Emperor's side, Under the attack of a large number of universe lords, a glaring gold light suddenly appeared. In an instant, the 4 strongest warriors of the universe all attacked. Every strongest warrior of the universe was equivalent to 10 universe lords. With the 4 of them working together, it caused the 3 armies' 120 god bodies to instantly rise to 160 god bodies. After mixing with the attacks of the 4 strongest warriors, the energy changed once more, completely exceeding the 8th level. Rumble. Endless attacks descended. It caused the energy domains of the human universe lords to be instantly compressed to 1/10 of their original size. The violent attacks even caused the attacks of the human universe lords to be unable to break out of the energy domains. They could only hurriedly defend. Too strong. We can't block it. If this goes on, there will definitely be problems. Once a gap appears in the energy domains we're defending, allowing that violent attack to sweep in, one of the universe lords will definitely die. We can go on like this. The human side was panicking. They were in a panic. Facing such an overwhelming attack, 100 god bodies had to withstand the power of 160 god bodies. One had to know that the more experts there were, the more power they could unleash. Hence, the difference in power between the two sides was estimated to be 2 to 3 times. This caused the human side to be completely on the defensive. Under such pressure, even if there aren't any gaps, just the consumption of the god bodies, as long as 50% of the god bodies are lost, they will only have 1/10 of their strength left. As the god bodies are used up, our battle strength will continue to drop, and the allied army has the 4 strongest warriors. In terms of a battle of attrition, no matter how long it takes, the 4 strongest warriors can easily maintain the pinnacle of level 6 battle strength. The human side, since they could become universe lords, naturally weren't stupid. They all understood the danger of the situation. Within the tomb boat, Luo Feng and Peng Gong watched the universe lords of the two sides clashing. Just as they were feeling emotional, they saw the 4 strongest warriors gather within. Luo Feng. Peng Gong, if you don't go up now, something might go wrong here. The Master of Darkness transmitted his voice over. The battle has just begun. It hasn't reached that point yet. Peng Gong communicated. How long has it been? Our universe lords shouldn't have expended much of their god bodies. Cut the crap. Darkness Lord was anxious too. Try this side. The attacks there are too strong. The moment we can't defend, I'm afraid one of the universe lords will fall. If this drags on, as the god bodies are used up, our defense will weaken. Luo Feng, when will we counterattack? Peng Gong, let's attack together. Luo Feng frowned and ordered. All right. Peng Gong squinted, his eyes gleaming with madness. Boom! The speed of the tomb boat suddenly skyrocketed, and it directly charged towards the 3 clans' allied army camp in the distance. The tomb boat was majestic, and those mechanical marionettes did not dare to stop it at all. Seeing the tomb boat charging towards them, the previously arrogant machine race deity, Father immediately stopped the attack of the mechanical marionettes. Jinjiao, Dream T, Empress, continue attacking the universe lords of the human side. Leave Luo Feng and Peng Gong to me. The automaton god communicated. All right, automaton, block the 2 of them. Be careful of Luo Feng. He acquired the Duandong River inheritance. He might have treasures. The automaton god communicated. Relax, I've never let my guard down. The 10,000 automatons, too, surrounded the tomb boat. As the boat's speed rose to 100 times light speed, hundreds of times light speed, the automatons followed suit. When the entire tomb boat was about to touch that black oval ball, Hua, the tomb boat vanished in mid-air. Luo Feng and Peng Gong both appeared in mid-air. Kill! Kill! The moment they appeared, the 2 simultaneously unleashed their attacks. Break! Luo Feng waved the blood shadow blade. It madly expanded. From its previous 10,000 kilometers length, it swiftly expanded to over 100 million kilometers, especially the tip, the larger it got. However, the hilt was still as small as before. This huge blood shadow blade didn't care about the automatons at all, instead slashing towards Meng and Jun ancestor. Bug Clan Empress, give me a rod. Peng Gong's Yin Jun rod too expanded, directly stabbing fiercely towards the distant Empress direction. One blade, one stab. The two didn't care about the automatons at all, attacking Meng, Jun ancestor, and the Empress. Jun ancestor, Meng ancestor, and the Bug Clan Empress. What kind of beings were they? They were very clear that the deciding factor of this battle was the universe lords of both sides. Hence, they completely ignored Luo Feng and Peng Gong's attacks, madly pouring out their energies towards the Black Prison Tower human-side universe lords. The Blood Shadow Blade slashed on Meng and Jun ancestor. If a pinnacle level 6 attack could injure the strongest of the universe, that would be a joke. It only knocked them back a little. Don't care about those two humans. Jun ancestor communicated. Automaton, they have the tomb boat charging. You have no way to hold them back. Since that's the case, just ignore them. Pinnacle level 6 attacks? They can't even harm us. We just have to focus on attacking the universe lords. Right? The universe lords of the human side are starting to panic. As long as there's a mistake, a universe lord will definitely fall. After which more and more of them will die. We'll definitely win this battle. The Bug Clan Empress communicated. All right, the automaton father god didn't care about Luo Feng and Peng Gong anymore. This immediately made Luo Feng and Peng Gong both anxious and furious. However, they were helpless. After all, even though the primal universe suppressed the strongest attacks, it didn't suppress their defenses. Luo Feng, Peng Gong. Right now, most of the universe lord bodies are over 95%. However, if this goes on, the toll on their bodies will only increase. And it's already very taxing to defend. Darkness Emperor communicated anxiously. Luo Feng and I are anxious too. However, the 4 strongest are too cautious. Even with such a huge advantage, they still haven't left the universe lords. If we counterattack now, it'll be very hard to capture both universe lords. Even just one would be hard. Peng Gong communicated. Luo Feng was anxious too. The lords of the universe and the allied forces of the 3 races were split into 3 groups. There were 80 in the Empress Palace, 16 in the Demon Race's spaceship, and 16 in the Machinery Race's Godfather's Oval Sphere. Even though Luo Feng and the others couldn't determine the exact numbers, the warriors were all standing at the edges of the caves and the cabin doors. Hence, they could vaguely see the numbers. Luo Feng originally wanted to wipe out the entire group of universe lords protected by the 2 demon ancestors and the automaton race Father God in one fell swoop. However, now, we can't care anymore. If this goes on, not only will we not win, we might even lose. Luo Feng gritted his teeth and communicated, counterattack. Asterisk, 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 the 2nd chapter had arrived. Tomato continued writing the 3rd chapter, to be continued. If you like this work, please come to Chidian. Come to vote for me. Your support is my greatest motivation. Chapter 1313. Within the Dark Universe Space. At the same time that the human camp and the allied forces of the 3 races were fighting, there were many powerful beings watching from afar. I didn't expect that with over 100 universe lords, their combined attacks would be so strong. Looks like I'll have to learn from the Northern Border Alliance leader in the future. As an Alliance leader, at least I'll have a group of universe lords to command. A purple-robed silhouette stood in the dark universe space. His gaze pierced through space and time, watching the distant battlefield. Simultaneously, he maintained a small flight path. Sherwa, you want to be the Alliance leader? All right, I'll give my Northern Border Alliance to you. About 10 billion kilometers away from the purple-robed silhouette, there was a wrinkled old man with white hair and beard. You sure are generous. However, I don't dare steal from you. Everyone, what do you all think the outcome of this battle will be? The Sherwa Island Lord's voice resounded to the powerful beings. I think the 3 race armies will win. A powerful voice resounded. Even the ancestor god favors the 3 races? I too favor them. A ball of flame resounded. That's hard to say. That Luo Feng has acquired the inheritance of the Duandong River. The human army already has 2 more absolute treasures. Who knows what other treasures he has? Old Beast God, what do you think? A casual voice resounded. I'm afraid one of the 3 races will win. An old voice resounded. Old Beast God, don't you have a good relationship with the humans? A sharp hoarse voice resounded. In the distance, a huge life form with a body was roaring. The human army can't even hold on, yet you're not helping. And right now, you don't even favor the human army. I hate people like you the most. What, you want to fight? Let's fight. Do you think I'm afraid of you? Old Beast God, Zhou, why are you 2 fighting at this time? Su Jun, this has nothing to do with you. I just don't like this old Beast God. The sharp hoarse voice was filled with hatred. Let's watch first. Another voice resounded. Mountain Guest is right. Let's watch first. This battle is extremely important. Watch. The allure of the inheritance of Duandong River was extremely terrifying. The strongest experts of the universe rushed over with their true bodies or sent out clones. All of them were sensing space-time. Their sensing range of space-time was incomparably vast. When the allied forces of the 3 races appeared in the human domain, they immediately discovered it and naturally rushed over. However, in order not to cause any misunderstandings, when the battle began, they all watched from afar, unable to participate for a short period of time. Other than these strongest experts, there were also some lords of the universe who came to investigate the situation. For example, Jail King and other existences. However, their statuses were slightly lower, and it was not appropriate for them to participate in the conversation between the strongest experts. There's movement. Something's wrong. The human camp is going to make a comeback. The strongest experts and masters of the universe who were watching from afar were all shocked. The Dark Universe, the battlefield of the 2 factions. Counterattack. Luo Feng ordered. Prepare to counterattack. Prepare to counterattack. Prepare to counterattack. The voice of the Lord of Darkness resounded in the minds of every lord of the universe at the edge of the abyss, causing them to become excited. They only knew of the 3 plans for the counterattack. As for the details of the entire plan, they did not know. However, they understood one thing. The human race still had trump cards, and now it was time to reveal them. In an instant, they were all filled with fighting spirit. Even their frantic defenses seemed to stabilize a little. They're counterattacking. They're counterattacking. They all madly resisted, while simultaneously watching from afar, waiting for the situation to change. In space, before Luo Feng and Peng Gong were Monster Dream, Monster Jun, and Automaton Race Father God. However, the 3 of them didn't care about Luo Feng at all. Tomb Boat. Luo Feng waved his hand, and immediately the tomb boat appeared in midair. It expanded majestically, instantly reaching a diameter of 10 billion kilometers. It seemed to be right in front of the Allied forces. However, the Allied forces completely ignored the tomb boat. They were very clear that they couldn't do anything to the tomb boat, and the tomb boat couldn't do anything to them. Suddenly, at the cabin door of the tomb boat floated a crystal ball. It expanded fiercely and continued to expand, reaching a diameter of 10 million kilometers, almost covering the entire cabin door. The rings of light on the crystal ball gathered at one point. That point was like the pupil of an eye. The direction of the pupil was towards the distant female emperor palace. The entire crystal ball was about 10 million kilometers in diameter. The pupil was only about 100,000 kilometers in diameter. Rumble. The powerful willpower followed a straight line and swept through the sky, directly hitting the large group of universe lords at the edge of the abyss. However, the entire willpower followed a straight line, almost like a laser beam. Even from Luo Feng's angle, it could only hit 10 universe lords at once. It wasn't that Luo Feng didn't want to attack the 80 universe lords at once, but because the ancient god eye pupil could maintain its maximum strength within a diameter of 100,000 kilometers. However, if it continued to explode, it would cause the range of the ancient god eye to grow larger and larger, and the willpower would weaken. A diameter of 100,000 kilometers was already the maximum range, maintaining the maximum willpower. Ah, a tall automaton universe lord felt a powerful willpower attack. He couldn't help but roar and kneel on the ground, his entire body trembling. No! The universe lords all knelt down, some lay down, some even lost control of their consciousness and collapsed. The willpower attack of the ancient god, I was simply too strong. Because in the dark universe, they weren't too far from each other, and Luo Feng intentionally used the Toon Boat to send the ancient god I closer to the female emperor palace, naturally allowing the ancient god I to unleash its full power. The ancient god I slowly rotated, causing the direction of the pupil to change. With a single sweep, it could affect more than 10 masters of the universe. With a slight shift, it could reach another 10 universe lords. This simple rotation. This caused the willpower attack tornado to circle the edge of the abyss around the female emperor palace, affecting all the universe lords. Although this would cause the ancient god I willpower shock to temporarily leave the universe lords who were struck at the start, but when one was completely stunned by the willpower attack, even if the willpower attack disappeared, it would take a while to recover. Hence, in a blink of an eye, the ancient god I scanned one round. The ancient god I slightly rotated and the pupil scanned one round, but it was a fatal one. Among those 80 lords of the universe, there were experts from the insectoid race, the demon race, and the automaton race. Most of them were experts from other vassal races. Moreover, having learned their lesson from the previous battle, the three races did not dare to gamble against extremely powerful lords of the universe like the Lord of Annihilation, who had the potential to become the strongest in the universe. Therefore, almost all of them remained in their own small universe. If it was the Annihilation Forbidden Lord and the other Pinnacle Level 5s, many of their willpower had reached the universe's strongest level, and they could withstand it. It was a pity that the races didn't want to lose their hope. Among these 80 people, only 3 had the will of the strongest. Only these 3 were able to withstand the impact. The rest were either kneeling or had simply lost consciousness. This was catastrophic. The sudden loss of 77 lords of the universe meant that only 35 of the 112 lords of the universe of the three races' allied army were left to continue attacking the human camp. Only 35 universe lords. Adding them all together, their attacks didn't even reach the level 7 standard. The 4 strongest warriors of the Alliance were equivalent to 40 universe lords. Hence, with a sweep of the ancient god eye, the combined attack power of the alliance of the three races instantly dropped from the power of 160 universe lords to the combined attack power of about 80 universe lords. On the other hand, the human camp had the combined power of over 100 divine bodies. Moreover, Rumble, Luo Feng, and Peng construction masters simultaneously unleashed their own techniques. The saber light that swept out and the rod shadow that seemed to be able to destroy the heavens and the earth also swept towards the Empress at the same time. If these 2 peak tier 6 combatants were included, the human side would have the combined power of 120 universe lords. Finally, the human universe lords broke through the energy domain and were no longer forced to defend by the other side. Rumble. The human camp's masters of the universe launched a large number of attacks at the Empress. Luo Feng and Peng construction masters attacks too. The most fatal thing was Swallow. Darkness Lord's black prison pagoda swallowed, while the ancient god I was activated. It finally worked. After 77 of the 80 lords of the universe had fallen, including the 3 who were still conscious, the 80 lords of the universe had no way to resist and immediately flew towards the black prison tower. As they flew over, the human side's large amounts of attacks landed on them. No! How can this be? Empress. The 3 still conscious, the 3 absolute pinnacle beings from the vassal races were all shocked and raged. There were only 3 of them. How could they break free from the swallowing of the absolute treasure palace? There were only 3 of them. How could they defend against the combined attacks of a human side, including Luo Feng and Peng Construction Master? The colorful and powerful attack in front of him, as well as the thin saber light and the sky-reaching rod shadow, were all mixed together and rushed over. They were trapped from both inside and outside. Empress, the automaton race, Father God communicated and roared. Empress, protect them. Ancestor Zhen Yao communicated anxiously. Protect them well. Ancestor Dream Yao was frantic too. This attack was too sudden. The three of them didn't even have time to unleash their attacks to defend. They could only place their hopes on the Bug Empress. This was the three-race alliance's only hope in this war. If 10 Universe Lords were killed, or 10 Universe Lords were swallowed, that would simply be a nightmare. The third chapter was over. Tomato continued writing the fourth chapter. To be continued. If you like this work, please come Chidian. Come to vote for me. Your support is my greatest motivation. Chapter 13-14. The sudden change in the situation caused Demon Ancestor Zhen and Demon Ancestor Meng to go crazy. How could this be? It shouldn't be like this. Well, attacks shouldn't be this strong. Both Demon Ancestor Zhen and Demon Ancestor Meng could not understand. Although they had suffered a loss in the first battle with the humans, they did not mention that the human camp had treasures that contained willpower impacts when communicating with the machinery race and the insect race, with the intention of weakening the strength of the other two races. However, the bug race and machinery race were not fools. Later on, when the Masters of the Universe decided on the distribution, they firmly requested that the experts of the three races be spread out in 3 different locations. For example, in the huge ship protected by Demon Ancestor Zhen and Demon Ancestor Meng, in the oval black ball of the mechanical race's godfather, and even in the Emperor's Palace, there were insects, machines, and demons. If that were to happen, all 3 parties would suffer a loss. Only then would the 3 parties be more united. Therefore, Demon Ancestor Zhen and Demon Ancestor Dream also found an excuse to talk about the willpower impact. For this, the Queen of the Insectoids and the Machine Race's godfather had even asked the Lord of Annihilation and other Lords of the Universe who had survived. Only then did he realize that only peak-will Masters of the Universe could resist the impact of will. There are a total of 80 Universe Lords within the Emperor's Palace. Although the most important members of the 3 races who have the highest chance of becoming the strongest in the universe haven't participated in the battle yet, there are still a few Universe Lords. However, there were 3 with the strongest will of the universe and 11 with the ultimate will of the Lord of the Universe. Including the avatars, there were 16 divine bodies. When they joined forces, they were nearly as powerful as 2 of the strongest people in the universe. The energy domain they formed could easily withstand the Black Hell Pagoda's devouring power and protect the other lords of the universe in time. No matter how powerful the enemy's attacks are, the Empress can take them into the Empress Imperial Palace, and they will be extremely safe. This was one of the preparations of the alliance of the 3 races. But the truth was beyond his expectations. The power of the humans' willpower attacking the treasure was even more terrifying than the last time. A will-impacting treasure that can threaten the Lord of the Universe? I've never heard of anyone obtaining one. Even a single one is incomparably precious. Could it be that the human race obtained 2 of them? Moreover, the second one is even stronger than the first one? Demon Ancestor Zhen and Demon Ancestor Dream did not expect such a thing to happen. The Zerg Queen was getting anxious as well. A peak-level treasure palace. You 3 fools. Hurry, hurry, hide inside the palace and immediately protect the Universe Lords beside it. Hurry. The Insectoid Queen transmitted anxiously. In the distance, Luo Feng was controlling the ancient god Eye on the tomb boat. It was very close to the Empress, scanning time and time again at the group of Universe Lords, causing the other 77 to be unable to resist at all. Palace. Palace. The 3 peak existences of the subsidiary tribes knew that even if they hid in the palace would be swallowed by the Black Jail Pagoda. However, they did not hesitate and immediately obeyed the Zerg Queen's orders. Boom, boom, boom. 3 palaces immediately appeared, 2 peak level and 1 peak level supreme treasure palaces. Hurry, Protect the other universe lords. The Bug Queen urged anxiously. Come in, come in. The three powerful alien lords of the universe made their palace treasures extremely large, and they did their best to bring the surrounding lords of the universe into their palaces. While they were doing this, the Queen of the Zerg also did something. Absorb. Before, the Zerg Queen was controlling the Empress Palace to absorb the universe lords of the human camp. However, at this time, she changed her target, absorbing the 80 universe lords flying in space from the Three Alliance army. The powerful swallowing energy directly affected the three palaces and the other universe lords floating around. Empress Palace, Black Jail Pagoda, simultaneously absorbing the 80 universe lords of the Three Alliance army. The powerful swallowing energy caused their soaring speed to immediately slow down, especially when the three universe lords resisted with all their might, causing their speed to slow down. However, Luo Feng, Peng Gong, and the terrifying attacks of the human camp's universe lords descended. They were too close. The human camp's attack speed was too fast. Even when the three universe lords swiftly took out their palace treasures and tried their best to bring in the universe lords that were floating at high speeds, they only managed to bring in half of them. There were still a few universe lords scattered far away, and the human camp's terrifying attacks had already arrived. Rumble, mixed with the blade light and rod silhouettes, the powerful attacks instantly swept through. The ancient god Ai's willpower attacks continued to ripple. The masters of the universe, who were scattered in the void, did not even know that danger was approaching them. They were completely defenseless. No! Ancestor Zhun and Ancestor Dream's roars resounded. No! The automaton race Father God was similarly pained, because one of them was an automaton universe lord. Rumble, a pinnacle level 6, could easily kill a pinnacle level 3 in one move. And this was when the pinnacle level 3 used their techniques to resist. Like these who didn't even resist the willpower attacks, even a pinnacle level SIXS attack could kill a level 4. And at this time, the vast and mighty attack that exceeded level 7, even a level 5 would die if he didn't resist. Without a doubt, the 22 bodies that were scattered under the combined attack of the human camp were instantly annihilated. 22 bodies, a total of 18 universe lords. 6 of them had avatars. Some had lost one avatar, some had lost 2 avatars, but the other 12 masters of the universe had lost their lives. 12 masters of the universe. Every loss was a huge price, and we actually lost a total of 12. The automaton race, Father God, Ancestor Zhun, and the others were filled with regret, rage, and unwillingness. When the Bug Queen relied on her palace and the 3 other palaces, she naturally escaped the danger of being swallowed. The 3 races were furious and unwilling, but at the same time, they let out a sigh of relief. They were most afraid of losing 60 to 70 universe lords. Plan number 3. Luo Feng communicated. Plan number 3. Within the Black Prison Tower, Darkness Lord ordered, his voice resounding in every universe lord's mind. The Dragon Travel Master, the Ice Peak Master, the Desolate Mirror Master, and the other universe lords, as well as the other alien race universe lords from the human camp, were all filled with excitement. It had been too exhilarating just now. They had killed 22 universe lord celestial bodies in one go. Even if some of them had avatars, perhaps more than 10 had truly fallen. And this was just the first step of the counterattack plan. Plan number 3, attack. 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 The universe lords of the human camp simultaneously covered the skies and attacked the automaton race, Father God, and the 2 demon ancestors. About half of their power attacked the automaton race, Father God. The other half of the power swept toward the 2 ancestral demons. The humans are too arrogant. Ancestor Zhun roared with rage. Humans deserve to die. At the door of the huge ship, as well as the entrance of the oval black ball, there was a group of universe lords from the 3 races. These masters of the universe were all enraged and unwilling to accept this. and so they attacked in a frenzy. However, they were very cautious. All of them were beside the strongest of the universe, ready to hide at any time. The ancient god eye scanned the 3 palaces flying towards the female palace, causing the 62 universe lords hiding within to be unable to unleash their strength. After all, these 62 universe lords were the most dangerous part of the 3 races. If the ancient god eye left, this powerful strength would immediately explode again. Hence, they had to suppress it. The human camp collectively attacked the automaton race and demon race. The ancient god eye suppressed the 62 universe lords. At the same time, Luo Feng and Peng Gong moved too. Captured. Luo Feng was in space. Suddenly another silhouette appeared beside him. That was a majestic, golden-horned beast with huge, scaled wings and a completely black body. It spread its wings to its heart's content, but there were 2 inconspicuous bloodstains on its black wings. The white wings were extremely powerful treasures, so naturally, they could change their color easily. Luo Feng, the golden-horned beast, and Peng Gong Gong all attacked at the same time. Annihilation. The golden-horned beast's clone was roaring. This was the first time it used the core of the Broken East River, one of the 3 ultimate arts, annihilation. Even though it had created nirvana, but no matter how sharp the white wings were, they were better at attacking than most ultimate treasures. However, its power, compared to the Blood Shadow Blade, was still weaker. If it didn't unleash annihilation, the golden-horned beast could barely reach level 6. Only by unleashing annihilation, accelerating the god energy burning, could it instantly unleash the pinnacle of level 6 power. The glaring blade light was very thin at first, then it grew thicker and thicker, engulfing the land and skies. The same sharp blade light followed the same trajectory, engulfing the land and skies. Rod silhouettes that rushed into the sky. 3 pinnacle of level 6 warriors. Along with the human camp's 50 universe lords attacks, they all landed on the demon race's monster ancestor, Jun, and dream ancestor monster. You can't even hurt me. Humans. Even though Jun and dream ancestor were shocked at the power of the golden-horned beast that just appeared, they weren't afraid at all. Immediately enter the ship. Demon ancestor Jun, on the other hand, became extremely cautious after being bitten by a snake. He immediately transmitted his voice to the group of lords of the universe at the cabin door between him and demon ancestor Dream. At this time, rumble. A gigantic creature suddenly appeared. This was an endlessly majestic, huge tower, with many levels, a total of 9 levels. The huge tower appeared out of thin air in the dark universe. The moment it appeared, it reached a height of 100 billion kilometers. At the same time, it continued to expand. At this moment, there was a huge black hole in the middle of the towering tower. Within the black hole, there was a drop of god blood. Star Tower, it's in a human's hands. Jun and Dream Ancestor were stunned. Facing the combined attacks of the 3 pinnacle of level 6 warriors and 50 universe lord level god bodies, even Jun and Dream Ancestor monster were sent flying. And when they were unable to defend against this force, the sudden appearance of the Star Tower was simply catastrophic. No, both Demon Patriarch Jun and Demon Patriarch Meng let out crazy and shrill screams. Star Tower. No! The automaton race father god and the bug race queen were panicking too. In space, Luo Feng and the golden horned beast, who had just unleashed their attacks, both gritted their teeth and shouted, "Absorb!" God power and willpower used all their strength to control the Star Tower. This was the first time the Star Tower truly appeared. Rumble, the huge ship, which was a peak palace treasure, rapidly flew towards the abyss at the base of the Star Tower. Immediately, the Lords of the Universe flew out of the ship's cabin door. However, the moment they flew out, they were unable to resist being sucked in by the Star Tower. The 4th chapter was over. Tomato continued writing the 5th chapter. To be continued. If you like this work, please come to vote for me. Your support is my greatest motivation. Chapter 13-15. To the Three Alliance army, the sudden change in the tides of the battle was indeed catastrophic. The series of attacks from the humans caused them to go from an absolute advantage to a crushing defeat. The ancient god, I suddenly appeared. It stopped the Three Alliance army's strongest team, the team of 80 Universe Lords. The combined attack of over 50 Universe Lord level bodies caused the automaton god, Father's, side to be knocked back, unable to help the two demon ancestors at all. The Golden Horn Beast's clone suddenly appeared, and with Luo Feng's main body, Peng Gong, and over 50 god bodies, this combined attack directly knocked away Demon Ancestor Zhun and Meng Ancestor Monster. At the crucial moment, the Star Pagoda had finally appeared. Using its ability to devour and suppress, the 16 Universe Lords hiding within the ship actually had 18 divine bodies. If they joined forces, they could completely resist the Stellar Pagoda's devouring power. However, the black hole at the base of the Star Pagoda still had a drop of god blood. One had to know that the most important part of the Three Alliance army was the 80 Universe Lords in the female palace. Hence, to prevent any accidents, the pinnacle of Universe Lord willpower, the strongest willpower of the universe, those were all within the 80 Universe Lords. This resulted in the ship protected by Demon Ancestor Zhun and Meng Ancestor Monster. Of the 16 Universe Lords, only one had the pinnacle of Universe Lord willpower. The rest were slightly weaker. Hence, when the god blood attacked, over half of them collapsed, 3 of them kneeling. Only one was conscious enough to resist. However, if only one could unleash his normal strength, how could he resist the absorption of the Star Pagoda? Even if this ship was Demon Ancestor Zhun's, and he was controlling it from afar, he couldn't resist it. After all, even if Demon Ancestor Zhun controlled an absolute treasure palace, compared to Luo Feng's Star Pagoda, they would probably be equal. And if he only controlled one absolute treasure palace, naturally he wouldn't be able to resist it. No, Demon Ancestor. 2 silhouettes flew out of the cabin door, attempting to escape. However, like a small wooden boat that was caught in a huge ocean whirlpool, no matter how it struggled, it would be swallowed. Rumble, including that absolute treasure palace, and the 2 Universe Lords that flew out, everything was swallowed by the Star Pagoda. Everything returned to silence. Far away in the void of the dark universe, the strongest experts of a universe were either in their true bodies or incarnations. There were also the masters of the universe sent by the various powers. Previously, some of them were still conversing with each other and exchanging opinions. But now that the tables had turned, they were completely stunned. The situation had been reversed, and it was a huge reversal, directly throwing the allied forces of the 3 races into the bottomless abyss. He had lost. He had suffered a crushing defeat. He actually lost. Mountain Guest, who was sitting cross-legged on a green mountain peak, had a look of surprise on his face as he sighed. What a surprise, what a surprise. Lost? The allied forces of the 3 races actually lost? The violet-robed figure sighed as well. This is going to be troublesome. The allied armies of the 3 races have lost far too badly. They've lost far too many Universe Lords. This is truly a disaster. Furthermore, the human camp had treasures that allowed willpower attacks, which prevented the Universe Lords of the 3-race alliance from unleashing their full power. Without the help of the group of Universe Lords, just the 4 strongest beings in the universe are no match for the human camp. There's no hope. The allied forces of the 3 races have been defeated. There's no possibility of a struggle. The old beast god sighed and shook his head. What a miserable loss. Quite a few have died. The huge meandering black monster let out a sharp voice. Haha, that pair of bastards, the demon race will only fall in their hands. They lost to that willpower attack treasure of the human camp. A ball of flame said, Right, that willpower attack treasure. That will impact treasure, change the situation of the entire battlefield, rendering the most powerful army of the Lord of the universe useless. The strongest beings of the universe were all sighing. Just what treasure is that? The distance is too far. and the energy ripples of the battlefield are too huge. I can't see clearly at all. And the willpower attack is formless and formless. There's no way to determine what treasure it was that unleashed it. However, from the reactions of the universe lords of the three races, it must have been a willpower attack. Haven't you all noticed that star pagoda? Star pagoda. Of course I saw it. I just didn't expect it to be in the hands of the humans. And it seems to be controlled by Luo Feng. Star pagoda. Back then we all tried our best, yet we couldn't control it. Who would have thought it would land in this Luo Feng's hands? The strongest of the universe shook their heads and sighed. The power of the Star Pagoda was without a doubt extremely strong. It's just that no one had been able to own it in the past. Such an absolute treasure, and it was a palace type. One had to know that palace types were extremely rare. In the entire primal universe, all the strongest of the universe added together only had 2 palace-type treasures. However, in this war, the humans first had the Black Prison Pagoda that originally belonged to the East Emperor's sacred land, and now they had the Star Pagoda that no one had been able to own. The human camp is very strong. They have a large group of universe lords. Furthermore, there was that staff-type supreme treasure, as well as 2 supreme treasures from the palace, and especially that Luo Feng, the human body of Luo Feng and the golden horned beast. They actually both had pinnacle of level 6 battle strength. I've long heard that he had a beast body, along with the Masha clansman that appeared before. Now that I think about it, he must have possessed the golden horned beast before, hence he was able to produce 3 bodies. 1 body and 1 body, both exploding with level 6 battle strength. Right, that Luo Feng's human body and golden horned beast body, both exploding with pinnacle of level 6 battle strength. Don't tell me his blade and wings are both absolute treasures? That's too many treasures. This Luo Feng received the inheritance of Duandong River. His encounters are huge. Even if we envy him, it's useless. It might not necessarily be an absolute treasure. Back when he passed the basic blade inheritance, he acquired the inheritance of Duandong River. According to the information I know, back then when he passed the basic blade inheritance, he had to at least create the strongest techniques of the universe. Looking at his blade technique from before, it should be the strongest in the universe. Pinnacle of level 6 power. Normal universe lords relied on their 10,000 times genetic energy and the engravings on the treasures to unleash the strongest techniques of the universe. And Luo Feng, he didn't even need to rely on the absolute treasures to unleash the strongest techniques of the universe. And they were created by himself. If he really was a universe lord with 10,000 times genetic energy, even without the absolute treasures, as long as he unleashed Nirvana Rebirth, he would be able to explode with pinnacle of level 6 battle strength. However, his god energy was weaker by a level. In theory, he could only be at the pinnacle of level 5 strength. With a Blood Shadow Blade, he could only be at the pinnacle of level 6. With the White Wings, he could barely reach level 6. He needed to unleash Annihilation to reach the pinnacle of level 6. Old Beast God, that Luo Feng actually has the Golden Horned Beast. Don't you have any reaction at all? The Golden Horned Beast he possessed, since it can produce a body. Naturally, it's a Golden Horned Beast that hasn't become undying. Our Space Beast Alliance. Those weak space beasts are destined to drift about in the universe. Whether they live or die, it's all in their own hands. The old Beast God said leisurely, "Let's go. This battle has ended. Let's go." I was hoping that this 3-race alliance would save us some energy. Looks like it won't work. We have to prepare well. The strongest warriors of the universe immediately stopped and left the dark universe. In the distance, the other universe lords who were quietly observing also began to leave. After Monster Jun and Dream were sent flying, they quickly flew back. However, it was too late. Humans, Monster Jun and Dream roared and roared. They were incomparably enraged. Damn it! The automaton race, Father God, was incomparably enraged too. Despicable, despicable, humans, despicable. In the distant Empress Palace, the Empress who had appeared outside the palace was also furious. The four strongest warriors of the three races were indeed enraged to the extreme. Wang, the ancient god's eye hovering in the void above the tomb skiff, continued scanning the area, aiming at the Empress Palace at all times. The moment the group of 62 universe masters dared to come out of the Empress Palace, they would face the danger of being swept away by the will of the ancient god's eye. Ha! Luo Feng laughed loudly, and in mid-air, the majestic star pagoda swiftly shrunk and landed on the back of the golden-horned beast. The golden-horned beast carried the star pagoda, and beside it stood Luo Feng with his silver wings extended. Beside him was Peng Gong wielding the Yanjun rod. In the distance, the black prison pagoda flew over too, and behind them was the tomb boat that was 10 billion kilometers long. Do you still want to fight? Luo Feng shouted. Demon, bug, and automaton. If your three races want to fight again, we'll fight with you. Peng Gong shouted too. The Three Alliance army was enraged to the point of insanity. However, they looked at the black prison pagoda and the star pagoda on the golden horned beast's back. There were a total of 2 palace-level treasures. Also, anyone with some information would know that the golden horned beast should be one of Luo Feng's. Luo Feng's body and body both had pinnacle level 6 strength. Peng Gong too had pinnacle level 6 strength. In terms of pinnacle level 6 strength, the human race wasn't weak either. There was also a large group of universe lords. There was also the willpower attack treasure that made the universe lord army unable to unleash it. Also, there were 2 palace-level treasures. Humans, you humans are just relying on the absolute treasures. Demon Ancestor Jin roared. He was indeed enraged. Ha, what a joke. Luo Feng extended his left hand, and the star pagoda beside flew into his palm and floated there. Simultaneously, he laughed loudly. To be able to acquire the absolute treasures, it's also a form of ability. Just like the Duan Dong River inheritance, everyone in the universe knows about it. Everyone knows about it openly, but I, Luo Feng, have it. This is my ability. Don't feel unsatisfied. If it wasn't for the automaton race Father God hiding within that black ball and not coming out, I'm afraid the group of universe lords it was protecting would have been swallowed by us humans. 5 chapters completed. Notice, tomorrow I'll sleep in. 2 chapters will be updated at night. Even though I've been staying up late, the updates haven't been lacking at all. The battle between the Three Alliance army and humanity had finally ended. Simultaneously, it was time to call for recommendation votes. I strongly urge everyone to throw in recommendation votes to reward the hard work of the 5 chapters Tomato to be continued. If you like this work, please come to Chidian. Come to vote for me. Your support is my greatest motivation. Chapter 1316. Luo Feng and his team had many plans before the battle. The strong had their own ways of fighting. The weak had their own ways of fighting. The moment they clashed, the three-race army was indeed strong, causing the human side to be at a disadvantage. Luo Feng and his team had been acting weak, hoping that the automaton godfather's true body would come out. However, he didn't expect, after enduring for a while, the Darkness Lord and his group of universe lords couldn't hold on any longer. If they continued to act weak, it would probably become a huge defeat. Without thinking too much, Luo Feng immediately counterattacked. It's actually like that. The three-race army was shocked when they heard this. The automaton godfather too felt a wave of fear. Before, when they had the absolute advantage, he indeed wanted to rush out and control his puppet army while fighting in close combat. Only then could he unleash even more strength. And at that time, Luo Feng was worried that his universe lords wouldn't be able to hold on, hence he didn't dare to wait too long. Only then did the three-race army suffer fewer losses. What's there to be proud about? The automaton godfather raged. It's just a willpower attack treasure. I got lucky. Without this treasure, your human side would definitely lose. Luo Feng held the star pagoda and shook his head in the dark universe. Beside, Peng Engineer Master shouted, "You're still finding excuses for your defeat? Automaton God, You really don't have the demeanor of the strongest in the universe at all. I really look down on you." The two armies in the dark universe space didn't lower their heads as they conversed. They exchanged a few words. However, they didn't fight anymore. The human side saw that only the strongest in the universe were left outside, and they couldn't kill them even if they wanted to. And the three-race army knew they had lost this time. If they continued fighting, they would just be trampled. Naturally, they wouldn't fight anymore. Ancestor Jun, Ancestor Dream, Automaton Godfather, Bug Queen. Luo Feng shouted loudly, his gaze sweeping across the three powers in the distance. "Some of your universe lords have been captured in my star pagoda. Do you still want our lives?" "Yes, of course." The oval black ball spoke. The entrenched silver snake and the sawtooth armored beast all looked over. The Bug Clan Empress too floated and looked over. The Bug Clan Empress let out a bewitching voice. Even though she didn't mean to, she was naturally like that. "Speak, human Luo Feng. What are your conditions?" "The conditions are simple," Luo Feng said loudly. "In the next era, the universe lords of your three races, the strongest warriors of the universe, are forbidden from entering the human territories. If you can do this, after an epoch, these imprisoned masters of the universe will naturally be returned, along with their supreme treasures." "Yes, this is the condition," Master Peng said. "Do the three clans agree to it?" Luo Feng stared at the distant strongest warriors of the Three Alliance army. He was very clear that winning against the Three Alliance army would make the human side situation even better. But even so, if all the spectating forces and solitary experts were to attack, it would be a nightmare for the human camp. If these captives could prevent the allied forces of the three races from getting involved, the situation would naturally be better. The four strongest experts of the demon race, insect race, and mechanical race were quietly discussing with each other through voice transmissions. "This time, our three races will go all out, no matter the cost. Even if we lose this battle, we won't be able to do it with just us. Those spectating powers, waiting for us and the humans to both lose, can't just stand by and do nothing, right? Hence, we'll wait for them to make their moves, then we'll join in. With our four strongest warriors' abilities, getting the inheritance will be a piece of cake." The automaton race's father first communicated. "Right, we've already come this far. How can we retreat?" Ancestor Monster Dream's sharp voice said. "Our three races have the highest hopes of becoming the strongest in the universe. They're all in their own small universe. Even though we've lost over 10, they're all foreign races. Our losses are still within an acceptable range." Ancestor Jin Monster said solemnly. "I agree with what you all said." The Bug Clan Empress spoke too. They didn't argue at all, immediately coming to an agreement. Compared to the inheritance, this bit of loss, they could take it. After all, since they were fighting against the human camp, they were already prepared to suffer some losses. The Golden Horn Beast, Luo Feng, and Master Peng stood shoulder to shoulder in space. As the space rippled, they all waited silently for the reply. "After killing so many warriors of our three races, you still want us to lower our heads?" The automaton race's father roared furiously. "Humans, I'll let you be happy for now. Very soon, you'll regret it. Looks like you've rejected." On the human campsite, Luo Feng gently caressed the star pagoda in his hand, his voice calm. "You're forcing the group of universe lords I've locked up to die. Ancestor Monster Dream, I've discussed with your demon race before. You rejected last time. Your losses this time are even greater. If we wait until next time, then we won't even have a chance to discuss." "Discuss?" "The next time will be the destruction of your human camp. Go, go." The three races couldn't be bothered to speak further. They immediately vanished into the dark universe. The human camp was in the dark universe. The Darkness Emperor, too, walked out of the black prison pagoda. "This is a bunch of trash." Even Peng Gong's master was gritting his teeth at this moment. "Looks like the next time, the three races will come again." The Darkness Emperor's expression was ugly too, and they'll only be a part of the next army. These three races really won't give up. "Of course they won't give up," Luo Feng said coldly. "The chance to transcend the reincarnation is extremely precious, And the universe lords we've captured are mostly foreign races. Even if they feel pain by these losses, they won't be willing to retreat. No matter what, we've won this battle. Let's return first. The Darkness Emperor said, Luo Feng, Peng Master, and the Golden Horn Beast all flew into the tomb boat. The Darkness Emperor, too, returned to the Black Prison Pagoda. After which, the tomb boat and Black Prison Pagoda left the Dark Universe, returning back to the Primal Region. At this time, within Luo Feng's Star Pagoda, the 16 Universe Lords of the Three Races Alliance were separated. Among them, there were 2 from the Demon race, 1 from the Mechanical race, and 1 from the Bug race. The other 12 were all from the other races. Actually, out of the 112 Universe Lords that participated in this battle, there were only about 20 from the 3 races. The rest were all the vassal races of their respective alliances and the foreign races that had just joined in this battle. Of the 112, only 20 were from the 3 main races. Just looking at the ratio, one could tell how weak the 3 main races were. Of the 16, were from the 3 main races, it was considered a rather high ratio. At this moment, the 4 experts from the 3 clans were imprisoned in a sealed space, while the other 12 were imprisoned together. After killing so many of our 3 races, you still want us to lower our heads? The rumbling voice from the outside world transmitted directly into the Star Pagoda. Looks like they've rejected. The 4 strongest warriors of the 3 races, along with Luo Feng's group, all transmitted within. Bastard trash. Damn those 2 old bastards of the demon race. For their ambitions, they want us to die with them. If the 4 experts from the 3 races could be said to be calm, then the 12 alien race universe lords who were imprisoned in the space immediately began to howl in anger. They were all from the weaker races. Even their races only had 1 universe lord. If they died, what would happen to their races? Even though the 3 allied armies had promised to treat the races that had fallen universe lords, they understood that even though there was a promise, without a universe lord around, their races would be bullied and humiliated in the future. Even if the demon, automaton, and bug races helped a little, if the prison race and other pinnacle races suddenly wiped out their races, what could they do? At most, they could continue to spread the seeds of their races. That was all. The 12 universe lords raged and cursed, and the 4 main race warriors didn't make a sound. They were angry too. However, they had to listen to the orders of the strongest. And of the 16, only 3 had clones, and these 3 had no movements at all. They too were waiting to see if they had a chance to leave alive. They weren't willing to give up their clones and treasures so easily. Primal Region, Primal Chaos City Leader's main palace was filled with cheers. Universe Lords, everyone has returned victorious. Our Primal Chaos race is extremely grateful. Our human race is extremely grateful. The Primal Chaos City Leader stood on the stairs of the main palace, holding a wine glass and looking down at the large group of Universe Lords. He was extremely excited. So what if the 3 allied armies are strong? They were still beaten and forced to retreat. This is the glory of our human race, the glory of the Great Alliance, and also everyone's glory. Let us all have a toast. Cheers. Many of the Universe Lords who were nervous before the battle were now extremely excited. Even the Primal Chaos City Leader was so excited, much less the normal Universe Lords. Even Luo Feng, the Darkness Lord, and Peng Gong Master had thrown their dissatisfaction at the 3 Alliance armies' final decision to the back of their minds and celebrate this precious victory. Very quickly, the Universe Lords gathered in groups of 2 or 3, chatting and celebrating. Luo Feng was naturally one of the most eye-catching. After a while, Luo Feng and the Primal Chaos City Leader walked out of the main palace alone. Those 3 races didn't agree? The Primal Chaos City Leader asked. That's within expectations. Luo Feng shook his head. Those 4 old bastards are extremely ambitious. However, we can only follow the other plan. The Primal Chaos City Leader nodded. Even though the effect isn't as good as the 3 races compromise, at least we can fight for some strength for our human race. The other plan was to sow discord. One had to know that in the three allied armies, the majority of the universe lords were still the foreign races. Those foreign races wouldn't be completely loyal to the three races, they wouldn't die for them. Hence, during the negotiations before, Luo Feng purposely let the outside world's voices pass through the Star Pagoda, allowing the group of universe lords to hear. They all have their clones within their own races, and also in the three-race alliance's respective core areas. The Primal Chaos City leader said slowly. They originally came from a few small powers and alliances, especially some with 2 or 3 universe lords. With one locked up by you, we can definitely rope in the others. Luo Feng nodded. Right, we can at least rope in a few. This way, the three-race alliance will be weaker, and our human camp will be stronger. I'll enter the Star Pagoda now, Luo Feng said. I'll go persuade them to surrender. At the same time, order their clones to sow discord within the three-race alliance, causing some of the smaller powers to leave. Then what do you plan to do with the universe lords of the three races? The Primal Chaos City leader asked. Of course I'm going to kill them. Luo Feng smiled. I'm just training. Only by personally killing a universe lord would he have the right to get his teacher mountain passenger to help him craft a treasure. To be continued. If you like this work, please come Chidian. Come to vote for me. Your support is my greatest motivation. Chapter 13-17. Milky Way leader, don't worry. After this defeat, many of the scattered clans that had defected to the Bug Clan, Demon Clan, and Automaton Clan will definitely change their minds. A lord of the universe with an earthen yellow upper body and many octopus-like tentacles as his lower limbs spoke in a sonorous voice. The alliance between the three races wasn't stable to begin with. Since we've lost, it's normal for some races to leave the alliance. The three races naturally wouldn't dare to forcefully restrain us. If they did, they would definitely receive backlash from the other clans. When that time comes, we'll naturally join the Great Alliance. Good. Luo Feng smiled and nodded. Joining the Great Alliance. No matter if we win or lose the final battle, we humans will guide you in training the strongest warriors of the universe, the ancient civilization's experiences. However, right now, I can't let you out. Once your clan leader Chu Fu comes, I'll naturally let you out. Luo Feng promised. This I understand. The octopus lower body alien replied obediently. What a joke. They were all locked up in the Star Pagoda, and their lives were in the hands of the Milky Way leader, who would dare to be dissatisfied. Luo Feng leaned on the railing and gazed at the endless darkness that was rippling with 1,000 treasure river. His expression, however, was serious. Even though he had spoken to the 12 universe lords alone and gained some benefits, Luo Feng was clear the small number of scattered clans that had defected to the alliance actually had a very small effect on the overall situation. However, no matter how small a mosquito was, it was still meat. Right now, the human race that had fallen into a predicament had to grab hold of every piece of meat and swallow it. The three-race alliance is just a test. The true battle hasn't even begun. Luo Feng felt immense pressure as he looked at the distant, endless space. The storm was coming. This was a terrifying storm that would engulf the entire primal universe. The three-race alliance's defeat had a profound effect. There were pros and cons to the human race. The cons were that the other powers would raise the threat of humanity to a whole new level and would probably go all out. However, in comparison, the pros outweighed the cons after all. If they wanted to attack humanity, they would definitely go all out. And the pros were many. The most important was to attract the middle powers to join them. Demon Territory, a normal life planet Bloodtooth planet. It was once the territory of a demon undying, and now it had become the meeting place for the upper echelons of the 6 great powers. On the beautiful grassland, 6 powerful consciousnesses condensed into incarnations. They were the demon race's demon ancestor Dream and demon ancestor Jin, the insect race's queen, the machine race's father god, the prison race's fiend ancestor, and the crystal race's sacred leader. These 6 strongest experts of the universe represented 5 of the 9 superpowers of the primeval universe. Why isn't the North Border Alliance here yet? Demon Ancestor's huge tail circled around him as his scarlet eyes scanned the area. Our consciousnesses have descended, so of course it's fast. The Northern Border Alliance has to rely on teleportation and teleportation. Please wait for a moment, Demon Forefather Jun said in a low voice. After all, the real decision-maker of the Northern Border Alliance is not the Northern Border Alliance leader, but the Masters of the Universe, the Crystal Race Holy Leader said slowly. Then, he turned his head and looked into the distance. They're coming. They all felt the fluctuations of teleportation. Clearly, an expert had teleported to this planet. Wong, Wong, Wong. 3 figures flew over from afar. It landed in an instant. The 5 clans are all here. Our Northern Border Alliance is a little late. The leader of the 3 figures had a body that seemed like flowing water. It was the Galaxy Master. As the most powerful person in the entire Northern Border Alliance, the Galaxy Master usually appeared in the Dark Void. However, since he was meeting the 6 strongest experts, he naturally revealed his true body. Galaxy Master, Black Lotus Master, Black Mist Star Master. The Machinist Godfather spoke. This is the first time I've seen you all appear together. This matter involves a lot of things. How could the 3 of us not appear? Said the Black Lotus Master, whose body was surrounded by rings of lotus leaves and had a head that looked like a plant's stamen. These 3 were not ordinary. The Northern Border Alliance was a super alliance. There were many idol clans gathered there, and there were about 100 Masters of the Universe. After all, an elite alliance like the Great Alliance had about 40 Masters of the Universe. One could imagine the number of Masters of the Universe in a super alliance like the Northern Border. Internally, there were also many factions. As for the Northern Border Alliance leader, he was just a figurehead. Both sides were just helping each other. On the other hand, the Galaxy Master, Black Lotus Master, and Black Mist Star Master had true influence. The 3 of them were all at the pinnacle of level 5. The Black Lotus Master represented the 6 great plant life clans of the Northern Border Alliance. They formed their own super faction. The Black Mist Star Master was the spiritual leader of the Northern Border Alliance's #1 clan, the Black Mist Clan. And even though the Galaxy Master was a special life form, he was known for his ability to reverse time and revive. He had saved countless universe lords from the various clans. His position in the Northern Border Alliance was similar to that of the Primal Chaos City leader in the human race. He handled many matters fairly and was supported by many smaller clans. He represented the special life forms and the smaller clans alliance. The 3 of them were the 3 big factions of the Northern Border Alliance. If they agreed, it meant that 95% of the Northern Border Alliance agreed. This sort of idol alliance was just like that. Their unity was obviously not as strong as the humans, demon, prison clan, etc. Since everyone is here, let's begin. Demon Ancestor Jun roared solemnly. Everyone knows that in the previous battle, our demon, bug, and automaton alliance lost to the human alliance. That Luo Feng's spoils from the East River inheritance has greatly affected the human race. Willpower attack treasures, Black Prison Pagoda, and many other treasures. Before this, the human race didn't even have them. Right before this, who had any willpower attack treasures? Never even heard of them. Like the black and gravestone pillars, they're all treasures that can't be moved. The human race's power is indeed much stronger. That East River inheritance, just how much did the human race gain from it? While they were discussing, these are all secondary. The automaton race's father suddenly spoke, causing the other 5 strongest warriors and 3 universe lords to look over. Inheritance, the most important thing, is training experience and guidance. The automaton race's father said slowly. With training guidance, I believe the human race will produce even more of the strongest warriors in the universe. The Holly-eyed race wants its 7 of them. If the humans obtain the inheritance from the ancient civilization, I'm afraid there will be 10 or even more of them. Back in the first cycle, the Holly-eyed race was incomparably tyrannical in the primeval universe, occupying large amounts of territory. As the human race grew stronger, they were destined to occupy even more territory. With more territory, the more life they would nurture, the more geniuses they would have, the more powerful warriors they would have. The more powerful warriors, the bigger the territory. This way, it would form a cycle, causing the human race's power to constantly expand. The automaton race's father emphasized, how strong will the humans become in the future? Everyone can imagine how strong the Holly-eyed race was back then by 3 times. 3 times? In an instant, everyone was silent. Back then, the 7 strongest warriors of the Holly-eyed race occupied an incomparably vast universe territory. If it was 3 times, 21 strongest warriors of the universe, 3 times their territory, then even if the 5 pinnacle races' territories were all given to the humans, it still wouldn't be enough. The demon ancestor emitted an evil and crazy energy. This definitely cannot be allowed to happen. The primeval universe territory is only so big. There are only so many life forms. The expansion of the humans will naturally follow the weakening of the other races. The automaton race's father continued. Previously, I didn't think that the humans were much of a threat. However, just after obtaining the inheritance, the humans actually defeated the 3-race alliance. If they were given more time, I'm afraid that even if all the other forces in the primeval universe joined forces, they wouldn't be able to defeat the humans. At that time, the primeval universe would probably be dominated by the humans. It would be too late for us to regret. Right. If they can defeat the 3-race alliance now, how terrifying will they be in the future? Even the Galaxy Master said, this definitely cannot be allowed to happen. As the automaton race's god father spoke, the 6 forces quickly united. Territory was the foundation of their races. If the humans expanded, their territory would shrink and they would decline. This was a natural thing. The 6 of us, a gentle voice sounded. The Zerg Queen said slowly, it's easy to unite because we all occupy extremely important and vast territories in the primeval universe. However, it's different for the other forces. For example, the Ancestor God sect is a gathering of many unique life forms. Their only territory is the Ancestor God mystic realm. They have no conflict with the humans' territories. The Astral Beast Alliance is even more detached. When the weak astral beasts are born, they wander the universe. They don't need large territories. As for the solitary experts, they don't need territories either. Yes, right, the struggle for territories makes it easy for us to unite. However, the solitary experts, the Astral Beast Alliance, and the Ancestor God sect don't care too much. They value the inheritance that transcends reincarnation more. If the humans try to rope them in, they might go over to their side. That way, even the 6 of us cannot unite. Therefore, we must unite all the forces that can be united. We must rope in all the solitary experts, the Ancestor God sect, and the Astral Beast Alliance. I don't believe that the humans will tell them the secret of transcending reincarnation. Even if they do, it might not be true. Furthermore, the strongest force in the primeval universe isn't any of the 9 forces, nor is it the solitary experts. Instead, it's the countless stragglers scattered across the primeval universe. Those stragglers number in the billions. Among them, there might be 1 or 2 lords of the universe, but there are probably hundreds of lords of the universe. However, because they are too scattered, they can only unite to form small forces. What we need to do is to rope them in. The threat of the ancient god, I wasn't small. However, a trump card could only produce the greatest effect when it wasn't exposed. Now that it was exposed, there were many ways to deal with it to minimize the threat of the ancient god eye. Billions of races, each weak and inconspicuous. The strongest ones are only 1 or 2 lords of the universe. However, all of them added up, their territories are very large. In the future, when the humans expand, they will probably destroy them and occupy their territories. Based on this, we can rope in many of the stragglers. The 6 forces discussed among themselves. Think of all ways to increase their own forces and weaken the other party's forces. If you like this work, please come to Chidian. Come to vote for me. Your support is my greatest motivation. Chapter 13:18. In the distance, the blazing light from the twin stars shone through the clouds and onto the land, causing the clouds to appear a beautiful orange-red. On the land, there were many green-skinned, elegant yin race life forms. The elegant yin race was a flesh-and-blood life form. They had four-hooved, beast-like lower bodies and human-like upper bodies, but they had 4 arms. They were naturally peace-loving, but once they were angered, they would become extremely crazy warriors. Peace, peace, happiness. This was the main theme of the planet where the elegant yin race lived. In front of an elegant wooden building, a woman from the elegant yin clan was kneeling on all fours, looking around leisurely. Boom! A beam of light suddenly descended from the sky and landed directly in front of the elegant yin race woman. It condensed into a burly figure. His body seemed to be made of metal, and he wore a layer of purple armor. He looked coldly at the elegant yin race woman, who was kneeling and resting, and said, "Elegant yin race master." The elegant yin race woman smiled. "Machine race is Hung Xian, my friend. Why are you here? It's rare. This matter concerns the fate of the elegant yin race. It concerns the rise and fall of the elegant yin race. You and I went through life and death together in the cosmic sea. How could I not tell you?" Master Hung Xian sat down. "The fate of my race." The elegant yin race woman looked at Master Hung Xian. Master Hung Xian said, "You should know about the battle between the machine race and the insect race and the demon race." Master Hung Xian said. The elegant yin race woman smiled and said, "Of course I know about this. This news has spread throughout the entire primeval universe. I'm afraid there are very few masters of the universe who don't know about it. The allied forces of the 3 races fought with the human camp, but in the end, the allied forces of the 3 races were defeated. This is really shocking and unbelievable. Come, have a taste of my race's jade fruit wine." He waved his hand. A wine cup floated in front of the 2 of them. The wine cup was very tall and deep, and the wine was a light green color, emitting bursts of fragrance. On the ground beside them, there was a dark gray wine pot with a beautiful design. Master Hung Xian raised his wine cup and said solemnly, "The humans have just obtained the inheritance of the ancient civilization, and they are already so powerful. If they are given a certain amount of time, they will definitely be more terrifying than the holy-eyed race in the first cycle. If they could defeat the allied forces of the 3 races now, what about in the future? Even if all the major powers in the primeval universe joined forces, they would not be a match for the humans. Once the humans became that strong, how could they not wildly expand? As you know, humans are an extremely aggressive race." The elegant yin clan woman paused for a moment. Yes, aggression. In fact, the insect race, the demon race, the machine race, the human race, the prison race, and the crystal race were all extremely aggressive. The law of reproduction meant that a powerful race was bound to invade more territories. In the primeval universe, who occupied the most domains? The Lord of the Balance String continued, "It's not us peak races, but you trillions of idle races. Each one of you is weak, and each one of you occupies a small territory. But when all of you are added together, it is an extremely vast territory. If humans were truly powerful and invincible, would they let you off? This war is not only a battle for the inheritance of the ancient civilization, but also a battle for the survival of our many races. The humans have the primal universe. No matter what, we can't destroy the humans." The elegant yin race woman stared at Lord Hung Xian. "They can't be destroyed. With the strongest in the universe, they are destined not to be destroyed. However, even if they can't be destroyed, they can still be suppressed." The Lord of the Balance String said, "We can capture their universe, Lord. Even if we can't, we can occupy their territories and force them to retreat into the primal universe. Hiding in a small universe and being suppressed by the major powers of the primeval universe. The major powers of the universe, will be jealous and will threaten the humans to hand over the inheritance. Since that's the case, the humans will find it hard to advance. They won't dare to let the weak go out to train themselves, because that isn't life or death training, it's certain death. The moment a human appears in the primeval universe, or in the universe C, they will be surrounded and captured. This will become a bargaining chip between the major powers and the humans. If that's the case, not a single human will be able to truly rise up. Only Luo Feng, the primal Chaos City leader, and a few others will be able to escape and survive. However, with just the few of them, even if they have a few more strongest warriors, what will they amount to against the major powers? Trapped in one place, unable to reproduce enough race members and geniuses, their potential will be limited. They will no longer be a threat. The balanced string lord stared at the elegant flame lord. Hence, to our many races with territories, we have to fight with the humans. We either force them to hand over the inheritance or suppress them, preventing them from developing. To the strongest warriors of the lone warriors, no matter how strong the humans get in the future, they won't be afraid. However, the chance to force the humans to hand over the inheritance will be gone. Hence, to escape the cycle of reincarnation, they have to grab hold of this chance. Overall, whether it's the strongest warriors of the lone warriors or our many races with territories, they will all surround and attack the humans. Our automaton race, Bug Clan, Demon Clan, Prison Clan, Crystal Clan, North Border Alliance, and many other random powers have all joined. I believe you just have to search and you'll know. The balanced string lord emphasized, if you don't join, you'll be ostracized. Those who join this time will naturally form huge benefits. You should know what to do. The elegant flame lord creased his eyebrows. The humans have also sent messengers to talk to me. Human messengers? The balanced string lord was shocked. So fast. They said that as long as you don't get involved, they'll promise never to invade. The elegant flame lord said. Actually, there was something else she didn't say. If they joined the human camp, the humans would tell the master of the universe how to become the strongest in the universe, including the cultivation experience of the ancient civilization. You believe that? The balanced string lord sneered. This war will sweep the entire universe. You and I are friends, so I'll tell you directly. If you don't join either side, when the war ends, your future will probably be very tragic. And without a doubt, the alliance of the major powers will definitely win. The balanced string lord held the jade fruit wine. Whether you join the winning side or the losing side, it all depends on you, elegant flame lord. Following which, he raised his head and drank the jade fruit wine. Gurgle, the jade fruit wine is indeed worthy of being the famous wine of the elegant flame race. The balanced string lord lowered his head and looked at the wine cup. But if I make the wrong choice this time, I'm afraid I won't be able to drink this wine in the future. Boom! The balanced string lord turned into a stream of light and disappeared into the clouds high in the sky. Master Yin was an extremely influential lord of the universe in the second-tier power, the Tri-Mountain Alliance. That was why she had sent Master Hung Xian to persuade her. If he could convince the elegant flame sect master, then he could influence the entire Tri-Mountain Alliance. The possibility of the Allied forces winning this battle is indeed very, very high. However, there are far too many factions joining the Allied forces. Even if I and the experts of the Three Mountains Alliance join, we'll only be the icing on the cake. How many benefits would we obtain? I'm afraid the benefits have been completely ignored. Ia's master side. Even if they manage to obtain some inheritances from the humans with great difficulty, how could those peak clans and strongest beings give them all to small forces like them? If you join the human camp, you will definitely receive guidance. Only, they were destined to be defeated. They had to hide in the primordial cosmos. At that time, the clans that stood in the human camp might be in trouble. When the time comes, we'll have to work together. If a large number of idle tribes in the human camp work together to deal with some attacks, it'll be very bad. The masters of the universe were no fools. They knew very well the pros and cons of joining either faction. The Allied forces were almost certain to win. Not only did he not get any benefits, he even had to risk his life. After all, quite a few universe lords had already perished. The human camp was almost certain to lose. But after the war, there would be trouble. How should they choose? How should they choose? While the Allied forces were trying to persuade the various idol tribes in the primordial universe, the strongest solitary experts, the Ancestor God sect, and the Astral Beast Alliance, the human camp was also thinking of ways to rope them in. However, the human camp was more gentle and did not help either side. In return, the human camp promised to never invade their territories. This was to restrain the Allied forces' argument that the expansion of the human camp would invade their territories. The two camps were thinking of all sorts of ways. However, the experts of the countless idol tribes were involved. Their decisions would affect the fate of their entire tribe. How could they not be cautious? Therefore, be it the human camp or the Allied forces, they did not gain much at the beginning. Clearly, the idol tribes were also starting to communicate in twos and threes. They were discussing how to deal with the problem of the two camps joining. There was even another voice saying that neither camp should join. In short, it was chaos. The two camps also used all kinds of methods, both overt and covert. For example, they used many benefits to bribe a master of the universe so that he would lead that faction. In short, all kinds of methods were used. They were desperately trying to rope in their forces. If they had 10 more universe lords, it would be 10 less for the other side. Going back and forth, it would be equivalent to 20 universe lords. Hence, how could they be lenient? In the boundless, desolate starfield, life was unable to thrive here. However, this vast, desolate starfield was Mountain Guest territory. Teacher, Luo Feng immediately came to Mountain Guest's place to greet his teacher. Personally coming here? Right now your human camp is very busy. You are also an important person. Why would you personally come to my place? Looks like you have a favor to ask of me. Mountain Guest held a crystal in his hand. He walked out and walked down the stairs. You didn't ask me for anything. You just didn't come here once. Your disciple is ashamed. In the future, I'll definitely come here. Luo Feng sweated and said. Mountain Guest sat down leisurely. Let me guess. You came here to ask me to create another willpower attack treasure. Also, you probably killed a universe lord with your own hands. There's even an image to prove it, right? Luo Feng could only nod obediently. Teacher is powerful. In the future, whether you've killed a universe lord or not, there's no need for an image. Just tell me. I believe you won't lie. Mountain Guest nodded casually. Creating another one is simple. Just wait here for 3 days. Right, the old beast god from the Space Beast Alliance asked me to contact you. Since you're here, I'll let him know. He'll be here soon. You can meet him and have a chat. As for whether or not it goes through, you don't have to care about me. Take care of my face. I have no intention of getting involved in your so-called faction wars. Old beast god, Luo Feng was shocked. Asterisk, 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 to be continued. If you like this work, please come to Chidian. Come to vote for me. Your support is my greatest motivation. Chapter 1319. Mountain Guest had already left, concentrating on crafting the other ancient god eye. Old beast god, Luo Feng sat crossed-legged in a quiet hall, frowning and pondering. I didn't expect him to find me before I even did. The human race needed to rope in many powers. There are 3 types. One was the large amounts of universe lords that had nothing to do with it. Even though each seemed weak, when all of them were added together, they were the strongest and most important power. Another type was the Ancestral God sect and the Space Beast Alliance. These powers had very low requirements for territory. The last type was the strongest of the lone wolves. Actually, the humans were willing to pay some price to rope in the universe lords who were not part of the universe, because these prices wouldn't affect humanity's future plans. However, with the strongest of the universe, the Ancestral God sect and the Space Beast Alliance, it would be troublesome, because what they wanted, humanity was clear, was a way to escape the reincarnation cycle. Firstly, humanity didn't have the confidence to escape the reincarnation cycle, because the higher-level information was all hidden by the origin laws. Secondly, if they couldn't obtain the method to escape the reincarnation cycle, the lone wolves and the other powers would probably ask for detailed information on how to reach the pinnacle of the strongest in the universe. And this, to the human race, would be their pinnacle strength in the future. After all, the pinnacle of the strongest in the universe was equivalent to the strength of the ancestors back then. For the other races, the lone wolves, to produce a few of their ancestors' strength, once they didn't have an advantage in terms of their pinnacle strength, how would humanity become the number one power of the universe see? How would they truly be invincible? Even the human race has internal conflicts, unable to come to a consensus. Luo Feng thought, everyone is watching. If we can rope in enough universe lords from the many lone wolves, even if we lose a few of the strongest, it won't affect the overall situation. Humanity was waiting to see how many universe lords they could rope in, seeing how many they could rope in, and how many they wouldn't help either side. As such, to judge the strength of both sides, if the human race thought they could defend against the allied army, then they wouldn't have to pay such a high price to the Space Beast Alliance. After all, humanity didn't just have to look at the present. They had to look at the future. That day, 3 hours after Luo Feng arrived at his teacher's place, the old beast god arrived. Luo Feng. His voice resounded within the palace. Whoosh! Luo Feng immediately flew out. Very quickly, he saw the huge being floating in mid-air. It had a huge dragon head with 9 horns on it. The 9 horns formed a crown shape. Its huge body had huge claws on it. Every claw had 9 claws. It's actually his true body. Luo Feng thought. This star sky primogenitor is obviously expressing his sincerity. Starry sky primogenitor. Luo Feng's voice resounded throughout the space. The star sky primogenitor, who was floating in the void, stretched his body slightly, but his head was still looking at Luo Feng. He said in a friendly tone, "This is the second time we have met since we parted ways in the beast god realm. It's indeed been a long time." Luo Feng smiled. "Back in the beast god world, you helped me." Luo Feng has always been grateful. Ha ha ha. The starry sky primogenitor laughed so loudly that it filled every inch of space around him. There's no need for thanks. Actually, being able to enter the beast god realm back then was mainly because the star sky primogenitor owed mountain passenger. You and I have some ties, then let's be direct. The star sky primogenitor said directly. The current situation, Luo Feng, you are very clear. The human and allied armies, the two opposing factions. Right now, the allied armies are constantly roping in the other powers. Just from what I know, there are many that have joined them. There are some that have joined us. Luo Feng smiled. Right? The star sky primogenitor said, however, the other races all know how big of a threat you humans are. Those random races too know. Don't even talk about your human race's promises. What's a promise? Who can guarantee that you won't break it in the future? The survival of the universe races has always been cruel and bloody. When you humans truly grow, who can guarantee that you won't keep your promises? Luo Feng sighed within. Yes, this was their greatest weakness. It's destined that in terms of roping in the other races, you humans won't be able to compete with the allied armies. The Star Sky Progenitor said, hence, you should join forces with the Star Beast Alliance, the Ancestral God Sect, and the strongest lone warriors. Luo Feng listened carefully. I've discussed with the 3 elder gods of the Ancestral God Sect. The Star Sky Primogenitor looked at Luo Feng. Our Star Beast Alliance and the Ancestral God Sect will advance and retreat together. Luo Feng was shocked. These 2 great powers actually formed an alliance just like that. The moment they formed an alliance, their influence would naturally be greater. Negotiating with the humans or the allied armies, they would naturally have more confidence. Our conditions are very simple. The Star Sky Primogenitor said slowly. 1. We need the Universe Lord to break through to become the strongest warrior in the universe. 2. We need to train to the point of transcending the reincarnation. Luo Feng, if your human race agrees, our Star Beast Alliance and the Ancestral God Sect will immediately join your human faction. Luo Feng's heart tightened. It's here. It was indeed a request. Actually, the different powers had different requests because of their own roles. For example, The smaller powers didn't even dare dream of transcending the reincarnation. They only wanted to produce the strongest warrior in the universe. That way, their race would at least be able to survive for 3 more reincarnations. Primogenitor. Luo Feng stared at the star sky. Primogenitor. Don't you know about the origin willpower? Primal universe origin willpower? The star sky primogenitor said slowly. Of course I know. Since you know, you should understand any information about transcending the reincarnation or even higher levels of training experience, etc., are all hidden by the origin willpower. Luo Feng looked at the distant star sky, primogenitor in space. Hence, even our human race doesn't know how to make it through the reincarnation. Star sky primogenitor said, I've discussed with the 3 elder gods, of course I understand. I'll get you humans to give me detailed guidance on how to transcend the reincarnation. You just need to give me enough. For example, reaching the limit of the strongest warrior in the universe. After that, naturally I'll have to work hard myself. Can you agree? Star Sky Primogenitor stared at Luo Feng. If you agree, the Star Beast Alliance and Ancestral God Sect will immediately join the human faction. It's not just our 2 powers. I'm guessing many of the strongest warriors have the same thought. You can use these conditions to rope them in. It's up to your human race if you're willing or not. Only with sacrifice can there be gains. This is up to your human race to decide. Star Sky Primogenitor looked at Luo Feng. Luo Feng was silent. Choice? Actually, many of the strongest warriors, the Star Beast Alliance, Ancestral God Sect, they didn't care if the human race grew stronger or not, because they didn't care about their territories. As for whether there would be another power in the universe ocean, whether there would be another power stronger than the Sacred Land universe, they didn't care either. They only needed to obtain the inheritance that allowed one to train to the limit. As for the method, as long as it was the inheritance, it didn't matter what method it was. Joining the human faction, joining the allied army, it was all fine. It all depended on which one worked. Star Sky Primogenitor looked at Luo Feng. After a while, Primogenitor, Luo Feng finally spoke. How is it? Star Sky Primogenitor was a little nervous too, because this involved the fate of the Star Beast Alliance. Luo Feng emphasized, I've thought about it for a while. However, this isn't something I can decide alone. I need to return to discuss with my teacher, Primal Chaos City Leader, and the others. If in the end, we humans agree, I'll personally inform you. If not, I'll inform you through Teacher Mountain Passenger. All right. Star Sky Primogenitor roared. Then I and the Ancestral God Sect will wait for your reply. Rumble. Star Sky Primogenitor immediately vanished. Luo Feng stood silently for a while. Asterisk that day. Even though Luo Feng's body was with Teacher Mountain Passenger, he used the virtual universe to contact the Primal Chaos City Leader. Luo Feng, didn't you ask Mountain Passenger to help you craft a treasure? You should still be there. Why did you suddenly come to find me? The Primal Chaos City Leader realized, too. Luo Feng probably had something important to discuss. The 2 sat down. It's like this, the Star Beast Alliance's old beast god met with me and raised his conditions. Luo Feng emphasized. Old beast god. The Primal Chaos City Leader was shocked, asking, what conditions? Just as we guessed back then. Luo Feng exclaimed. One is for the Universe Lord to train to the strongest in the universe, the ancient inheritance. The second is to train to the limit of the strongest in the universe. The Primal Chaos City Leader frowned. The limit of the strongest in the universe? That was the strength of the ancestor back then. And he also said that his Star Beast Alliance and the Ancestral God Sect will advance and retreat together. Luo Feng emphasized, I think they've formed an alliance. Ancestral God Sect? The Primal Chaos City Leader frowned. The Ancestral God Sect shouldn't be that anxious. Their demands shouldn't be as high as the Star Beast Alliance. Luo Feng was curious. After rising step by step, roaming the universe, see, there's some general information you don't know. The Primal Chaos City Leader smiled. The 3 ancestral gods of the Ancestral God Sect are actually universe lords. They aren't the strongest in the universe. Ah, Luo Feng was shocked. 3 ancestral gods, universe lords? This is a secret. However, it can only be considered an upper echelon secret. The primal chaos city leader shook his head. Firstly, the moment the ancestral god sect was established, there were already 3 ancestral gods. Don't tell me the strongest in the universe is so easily born, and there are 3 of them at once, and they all join the ancestral god sect? Secondly, the 3 ancestral gods have never entered the universe C before. Thirdly, the problems encountered in the universe C were all solved by the 9 underworlds lord and other universe lords. If you like this work, please come to vote for me. Your support is my greatest motivation. Chapter 1320. Luo Feng creased his eyebrows, but the ancestor gods can do it. Using the pinnacle treasures, they can unleash pinnacle level 6 strength. Huh? The primal chaos city leader laughed. What's that? That's a special privilege given by the universe origin laws. The universe origin laws give the strongest special privileges. However, the moment they battle the universe lord, the universe origin laws will strip them of their special privileges. If the universe origin laws are intentionally biased, they can totally give the ancestor gods the special privileges. Luo Feng blinked. The special privilege of enforcing the law is granted on purpose. As for using the pinnacle treasures, they can unleash pinnacle level 6 strength. However, they only understand the techniques of the strongest in the universe. The primal chaos city leader said, like you rely on your own comprehension. Like Peng Gong, he relies on the engravings on the treasures. And the 3 ancestor gods, they have their own techniques directly bestowed by the primal universe origin laws, similar to natural abilities. Natural abilities? Luo Feng understood. Just like his own, I am the universe. It was just that the 3 ancestor gods' gifts were even higher. They were directly the strongest techniques of the universe. Do you understand now? The primal chaos city leader exclaimed. The ancestor god sect was created by the primal universe origin laws, and it had long chosen 3 strong warriors to be its representatives, giving them special privileges, giving them natural abilities. However, these 3 ancestor gods, too, have many responsibilities and many restrictions. Luo Feng nodded. Right? If there really was one strongest in the universe, why wouldn't he solve the problems in the cosmic sea himself? If there really was one strongest in the universe, why would the demon god from back then be so confident in saying that in the cosmic sea, the ancestor gods weren't his match? Because the ancestor gods are the pseudo-strongest in the universe. Their freedom is limited. Only when this reincarnation era ends will they regain their freedom. The primal chaos city leader smiled. Hence to them, the most important thing is actually how to break through to become the strongest in the universe. However, what the star ancestor said makes sense. Greed has no limits. Those 3 ancestor gods, the 8 great beast gods, the many guardian beast gods, the 9 underworld lord, and many other guardian god lords, the universe lords of the ancestor god sect yearn to become the strongest in the universe, and also yearn to transcend reincarnation. However, there is no eternal alliance in this world. The ancestor god sect and the galactic beast alliance will not advance or retreat together. The primal chaos city master said, I will contact the ancestor god sect and persuade them personally. The highest price paid is the cultivation guidance on how to break through to become the strongest in the universe. Luo Feng nodded. Then what about the Space Beast Alliance? What about the strongest solitary practitioners? Wait, the primal chaos city lord said solemnly. Right now, many of the independent tribes and small factions are still hesitating. We need to do our best to rope in more lords of the universe. 100 lords of the universe is equivalent to 10 of the strongest solitary experts. Since that's the case, our focus should still be on the independent tribes. If we can rope in a certain number of experts, we naturally wouldn't need to care about those solitary experts. After all, to a powerful force, The number of pillars and peak experts are both important. From the immortal to the strongest in the universe. This was the ancient civilization's systematic cultivation method. It represented the nurturing of pillars of combat power, such as the lords of the universe, and even the strongest experts. As for the peak battle prowess, it referred to the battle prowess of the progenitor. Right now, in the entire universe C, there hasn't been a second progenitor-level warrior. The primal Chaos City Lord emphasized, if in the future our human race produces one or two, along with a number of pillars, then our human race will truly be invincible. Luo Feng nodded. Desire. Everyone desired for their own race to be strong. No one was willing to share their race's hopes with the other powers. Those powers were strong, like the strongest solitary warriors. Once a solitary warrior reached the level of the progenitor, naturally they would be extremely confident. Roaming the universe C, plus they had no ties. Why would they care about humanity? In the future, they would definitely have conflicts with humanity. The moment they fought, even if humanity was strong, the other party had no ties, plus they were at the progenitor level. When that time came, they would be shooting themselves in the foot. Wait until the situation becomes clearer. The primal Chaos City Lord's voice was filled with anticipation. 3 days later, Luo Feng retrieved the other treasure from Mountain Guest, the ancient god Eye, and immediately returned to the human domain. Even after returning, Luo Feng personally took on the role of an emissary, going out to convince a few of the smaller factions. You've seen, too, those that have joined our human camp. Till now, not a single universe lord has fallen. Maybe our race's chances of victory aren't that high. I won't brag like the Allied army. Their chances of victory aren't as high as they brag, but I can guarantee that our race has the Grave Boat, Black Prison Pagoda, and Star Pagoda. They're all absolutely safe. If we fight alongside the human camp, we can guarantee our safety. As for you worrying about being attacked after the battle, no need to worry. Our human camp, with so many universe lords that have joined us, naturally will be united. If any race dares to retaliate after the battle, then our human camp's allied army will immediately ride the Star Pagoda and the Tomb Boat and kill their way over, immediately wipe out their entire race. With this as a threat, I don't believe anyone would dare to mess with us. Luo Feng said confidently, persuading a huge rock head that appeared from the endless ground. Join our allied army. We'll definitely win. You've seen, too, our allied army, right from the start, has 6 great powers working together. With our demon race, automaton race, bug race, prison race, crystal race, and the North Border Alliance as the core, the alliance is extremely sturdy. And just these 6 powers, along with their subordinates, the number of universe lords will reach about 300. And with the random powers joining us, the number of universe lords in our allied army will continue to explode, and our strongest warriors and ultimate treasures will have a huge advantage. What? Willpower attack treasures? Haha, that's a joke. I admit that the willpower attack treasures are powerful. However, look at how many universe lords we have in our allied army. Not to mention the unaffiliated forces that had come to seek refuge. Just the alliance of the 6 major forces already had around 300 people. These 300 every 50 universe lords will be split into 6 teams. When that time comes, no matter how powerful the willpower attack treasures are, they can at most attack 1 team. After all, the willpower attack treasures have a very high requirement on distance. The further the distance, the weaker the willpower attack. This, you all know about the black and gravestone pillar and the many willpower attack treasures have in common. Therefore, as long as the universe pillar teams are slightly apart, for example, 10 million kilometers, they can at most attack 1 team of universe lords. This way, the willpower attack treasures will have little effect on the strength of both sides. And if the universe lord teams continue to split, for example, 30 universe lords forming a small team, the impact will be even smaller. In short, our side already has the absolute advantage, and it's destined that the battle with the human camp will not be short, but long. If it doesn't hand over the inheritance, then we will suppress the humans for a long time. Suppress the human camp. Make it impossible for the humans to develop, and those who have joined the human camp will regret it and even leave the human camp. Both sides were desperately trying to rope in the humans. The humans were already at a disadvantage, while the Sixth Allied Army was stronger. After all, the North Border Alliance had about 100 universe lords. Time passed day by day. Everyone in the primeval universe was paying attention to the changes. Even the various forces in the cosmic sea were paying attention. I hate that we can only stay in the cosmic sea. If only we could enter the primeval universe. If we can enter the primeval universe, we can force the humans and have a chance to transcend reincarnation. Hate that we can't even participate. The various forces in the cosmic sea were anxious and helpless. The first and second reincarnation eras, which of them didn't far surpass the primeval universe era? They could casually pull out a few pinnacle races, and they would be able to sweep through the many powers in the primeval universe. It was a pity that even though they had the strength, they couldn't enter the primeval universe. Luo Feng stood before the railing, holding a communication tag in his hand. Milky Way Lord, the memory stone you gave me before was indeed useless to me. If you give me another memory stone, if this memory stone is useful, then I will give you the other 8 supreme treasures in exchange for the third memory stone. How about that? If you have the confidence, if you aren't lying to me, you should be willing to give me the second one. East Emperor Ancestor, if you want the second one, you'd better give me the other 4 treasures to exchange for it. This was the conversation from before. Luo Feng was still unyielding. Obviously, the East Emperor's sacred land knew about what happened in the primeval universe. After the exchange with the memory stone, they suffered a loss. However, the East Emperor Ancestor thought that Luo Feng didn't mean it, because Luo Feng couldn't see the deeper information. Hence, he wanted the second one. But the East Emperor Ancestor wasn't willing to give any more treasures. He was clear that the human faction was in a difficult situation, hence he wasn't in a rush to negotiate before, but now he was negotiating with Luo Feng. My conditions are still the same. East Emperor Ancestor, if you can't bear to, then I'm sorry. Luo Feng was very direct. It wasn't that he wasn't willing. It was just that he was clear that of the 3 memory stones he prepared, the first one was already the best one. Even though he couldn't see it, he was still clear about the rarity and classification of the memory stones. If the best one was useless, the other 2 would naturally be even worse. Hence Luo Feng could only bite his tongue and not give in. Who knows, the East Emperor Ancestor might really agree to the trade after much consideration, because the only seller was Luo Feng. If he wanted to buy or not, no matter how intelligent the East Emperor Ancestor was, he wouldn't be able to use it. Time passed day by day. The terrifying battle was getting closer and closer. The entire primeval universe was in a terrifying pressure before the battle. Even the large powers of the universe sea were watching. They too wanted to participate. It was a pity they couldn't participate at all. Luo Feng, come quickly. Luo Feng suddenly heard the anxious voice of the primal chaos city leader. HM? Luo Feng felt something was amiss. So, with a teleportation, he immediately arrived in the main palace where the primal chaos city leader was, and within the main palace, Darkness Lord, Luo Feng, Pung Worker leader, Dragon Travel leader, Ice Peak leader, Desolate Mirror leader, Green East leader, all of them teleported. Today will be the 5th chapter. This is the first chapter. Requesting for recommendation votes and encouragement. I'll use all my money to welcome the 5th chapter. To be continued. If you like this work, please come come to vote for me. Your support is my greatest motivation. Chapter 1321. Luo Feng teleported and appeared within the palace, looking at the silhouettes that appeared around him. In an instant, including the primal chaos city leader, there were a total of 19 universe lords. The human universe lords were all here, not a single one less. This shocked Luo Feng. That was because there were several universe lords residing in the primal universe. However now, these god energy clones had arrived too. Just what has happened? Teacher actually gathered all the universe lords of humanity. Luo Feng felt the pressure. Even before the three-race alliance, there had never been a gathering of all the universe lords. In an instant, within the palace, everyone's expressions were serious. Silence. Not a single universe lord spoke. The formless pressure made all the universe lords feel heavy. They all looked at the primal chaos city leader. Everyone. The primal chaos city leader walked down the stairs and looked around at the universe lords, saying slowly, "The situation has changed greatly." What change? Dragon leader couldn't help but ask. Primal chaos, what's happening? Just what's happening? Teacher. One after another spoke. Luo Feng asked. Obviously, this scene made all the universe lords very worried. The primal chaos city leader emphasized. I've just received news. Large amounts of the rogue races, Luo Feng, and the others all felt their hearts skip a beat. The rogue universe lords were the crux of this final war. Between the human alliance and the alliance, whoever could gain more would have a greater advantage. Looking at the situation now, could it be that many of the rogue races had joined the alliance? A total of 282 strong races, close to 10,000 normal races, a sea of weak races. The primal chaos city leader emphasized. Secretly, they should have formed an alliance. What? Alliance? Rogue races forming an alliance? Immediately, there was an uproar. Luo Feng and the others were shocked. Of the billions of independent tribes, the so-called ordinary tribes and weak tribes were all very weak. Just like the Golden Horn tribe living in the human domain, these tribes did not even have a single lord of the universe. Hence, in the universe, where life was precarious, most relied on the strong races or even the pinnacle races. Hence, even though it was said to be trillions of races, it was actually the alliance of 282 strong races. How did this happen? How did this happen? Idle tribes, such idle tribes can actually form an alliance? They actually joined forces? For a time, the hall was in chaos. Everyone was shocked and confused. This news was too shocking. There were a total of 9 superpowers in the primeval universe. Each superpower, like the Hong Alliance and the Insectoid Alliance, had about 40 universe lords. The Northern Border Alliance had the most masters of the universe, but only about 100 of them, and they were rather loose. Therefore, the primeval universe was still relatively peaceful. It was too difficult for the countless independent races to unite. Their territories were spread across the primeval universe, and some of them had great enmity with each other. Alliance? The human camp and the allied army had never thought about it before. After all, to unite countless independent clans in such a short period of time, this was simply too difficult. 282 powerful races. How many universe lords are there? The I Speak Lord couldn't help but ask. How did he do it? Luo Feng couldn't believe it. Forming an alliance. It wasn't something that could be settled with just a few words. There were so many races involved, so many grudges and interests. Who had a higher position, who had a lower position, and who was the leader? The primeval city leader emphasized, since it has happened, it will be made public soon. Back then, the independent races didn't receive enough pressure. Now that they are being influenced by the two factions, forcing them to choose sides, naturally, there will be some universe lords who don't want to help either side. However, they're afraid of being alone. Hence, they began to rope in some universe lords and form their own factions. Even though there were signs before, I didn't think much of it. Who would have thought that in a blink of an eye, the entire alliance would be formed? Also, the leader of this alliance is the Origin Island leader. The moment he said that, everyone in the hall was stunned. Origin Island leader? One of the strongest lone warriors and a mysterious Origin Island leader? Amongst the strongest lone warriors, the Origin Island leader, Mountain Guest, and the Northern Border Alliance leader, these three were the most mysterious. Such a mysterious punk, he actually became the leader of such a super alliance? This super alliance has 6 second-tier powers and even more smaller powers. A total of 282 powerful races, with over 400 universe lords. The primeval city leader emphasized. Also, both the human and allied factions have some universe lords who have left and joined the Super Alliance. Left? Luo Feng and the rest's expressions were ugly. Primeval chaos. Has our human faction's universe lords decreased? The desolate mirror lord asked. The primeval chaos lord nodded. You should know, too, the subordinate races that come to join are, after all, just subordinates. During battles, we can hold some universe lords as hostages in the primal universe. However, after the war with the three races ended, naturally there's no reason to not allow them to return to the primal universe. Before, they were faced with two difficult choices, finally gritting their teeth and choosing to join us. However, when this alliance was secretly forming connections, they naturally contacted us and the universe lords that joined the allied factions. With just a little bit of roping in, some universe lords left. Before this, the total number of universe lords in the human faction had already risen to over 180. However now, including me, there are only 162, and there are still universe lords coming to bid their farewells. The primeval chaos city leaders sighed. If they want to leave, do you think the human faction can stop them? Deathly silence. Luo Feng and the rest all felt pressured. Back then when those random races came to join, they only did so because the humans gave them promises. However, they couldn't just sell themselves to the humans forever. Those random races had already fought for the humans once, yet they didn't ask for any benefits before leaving. Even if they weren't allowed to leave, they could still fly out of the primal universe into the cosmic sea, unless the humans wanted to kill them. If the humans really dared to do so, it would definitely cause a huge commotion. The palace was silent. The 19 universe lords, none of them spoke. They didn't know what to say. Finally, it was the primeval chaos city leader who spoke. During these few days, many of the large powers in the cosmic sea have contacted our race. The primeval chaos city leader said, they're asking for ancient civilization training guides that have surpassed the reincarnation cycle. Amongst them, many of them know of the effects of the primal universe laws. Hence, they all want to train to the pinnacle of the strongest in the universe. They're willing to use their ultimate treasures to exchange. The large powers in the cosmic sea were all very powerful. Like the God-eyed race, bone race, and many other races, they all had many of the strongest in the universe. They were very willing to use their ultimate treasures to exchange for the experience of reaching the pinnacle of the strongest in the universe. After all, facing the end of their lifespans, why wouldn't they? Damned cosmic sea powers. They're using this crucial time to negotiate with our race. The Void Gold Lord said coldly. They know we're in a difficult situation. It's precisely because we're in a difficult situation that they're tempting us. The Darkness Lord said solemnly. Not just them. Luo Feng said, just before the East Emperor Sacred Land contacted me again. East Emperor Sacred Land? Immediately they all looked at Luo Feng. Humans weren't willing to trade with other powers because giving part of their inheritance to other powers was to create a strong opponent for themselves in the future. However, giving it to the East Emperor's Sacred Land was different. Because the East Emperor's Sacred Land already had beings that had surpassed the reincarnation cycle, they'd long had the experience of reaching the pinnacle of the strongest in the universe. If the humans gave them a simplified portion of the experience, it would just be icing on the cake. It wouldn't affect the human race at all. The East Emperor ancestor is very cunning and greedy. Luo Feng sighed and shook his head. It'll be very hard to get any more absolute treasures from him. It's all because he's looking at our current predicament. The Yuho Lord gritted his teeth. The various powers of the cosmic sea were actually very jealous. It was just that they had no way of interfering, hence they could only wait for the right time. When humanity was in a difficult situation, they would take out the absolute treasures to tempt them. After all, to the various powers of the cosmic sea, they could only work with the humans. The allied army didn't have anything they wanted at all. As for lending the absolute treasures to the allied army, they were afraid if they lent it, they wouldn't return it. We'll wait. The primal chaos city lord said slowly, We can only wait. We'll wait for the reaction of the super alliance formed by the idle races. Before, the idle races didn't have the confidence to request anything from us. However, now, there's a total of 400 universe lords, even more than the allied army. This is a power that can truly influence the final battle. It can be said that whichever side they join, that side will win. They're confident now. This is especially true for that Genesis Island Master. He has quietly become the alliance chief of this super alliance. This mysterious Origin Island Lord. For him to be able to do this, how could he not have any requests? He definitely has a goal. Hence, this super alliance will make a move very soon. The Primal Chaos City Lord emphasized. Luo Feng and the others nodded, their hearts heavy. Actually, everyone had guessed that with enough confidence, the conditions would be high. Were the humans really going to give? However, if they didn't, if these 400 universe lords joined the allied army, it would be a disaster for humanity. Demon territory, blood-tooth planet. Waves will descended. The Northern Border Alliance was an incarnation of the master of the Black Lotus. Damn, these weak little powers, the second-tier powers, have actually allied together to form such a super alliance. Even the universe lords who joined our allied army have left. We can't stop them. We can't persuade them. Origin, this punk. We knew his methods were extraordinary. We actually created this super alliance for him. Such a super alliance, to make it extraordinary. I guess, the moment huge axe fell, he probably realized the situation and secretly began a plan for this. Right now, the initiative is in the hands of this super alliance. We'll just wait. Wait for this super alliance. Just what are they planning to do? The allied army and the human army were similarly caught unprepared. Half a month later, the super alliance was formed, officially announcing the news to the entire primal universe. This super alliance was named the Freedom Alliance. The moment it was formed, it immediately became the #1 power in the primal universe. The second chapter has ended. Tomato continued writing the third chapter. To be continued. If you like this work, please come to Chidian. Come to vote for me. Your support is my greatest motivation. Chapter 1322. The Bug Race, the Demon Race, the Automaton Race. The 6 great factions had temporarily formed an allied army. However, this was a very loose union. In essence, they were still divided into 6 factions. But the Freedom Alliance was different. This newly formed super alliance was extremely stable. It was a super alliance that had been prepared to exist forever. It was similar to the Northern Frontier Alliance, but it was much larger than the Northern Frontier Alliance. Precisely because it was going to exist forever, the degree of unity was naturally much higher. Whoosh, 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 golden waves surged in the starry sky, engulfing the surroundings long ago. Some stars and planets were like grains of sand within the waves, and they weren't harmed at all. Amidst these endless golden waves, there was an island. On the island, there were numerous thrones scattered in a ring shape. Each throne was occupied by a strange beast or an expert who could stand. They were divided into flesh and blood, energy, metal, stone, plant, and many other types of life. Each of them exuded a powerful aura. Everyone, on a deep purple throne, sat a majestic purple figure. His voice reverberated in every inch of the surrounding space-time. From this day forth, the Freedom Alliance officially stands tall in the primeval universe. The Freedom Alliance is for survival, for freedom. Everyone here is from an unaffiliated race. The strongest race only has 6 universe lords. The vast majority of races only have 1 universe lord. Individually, each of us is weak against the 2 great factions. If we join the allied army, we will face the danger of dying. However, even if there are benefits after the battle, it will be difficult for us to split them. And if we join the human faction, we will face retaliation from the allied army after the battle. We are also a race. We are also a part of the primeval universe. We don't even have the most basic freedom to not help either side. We don't even have the freedom to live in peace. Who is willing? The Genesis Island Lord looked around. Clearly, all the universe lords nodded slightly. Previously, they had all been in such a dilemma. Although I'm the strongest expert in the primeval universe. However, in this battle between the two great factions, just one of the strongest experts in the primeval universe cannot change the overall situation. I am also unwilling, said the Genesis Island Lord. What is the point of fighting and fighting in the vast primeval universe? It is to obtain what we want. It is to protect what is most important to us. To pursue, for protection. And the prerequisite for all of this was freedom, the most basic freedom. If they didn't even have the freedom to make their own choices, how could they talk about protection? What pursuit? And so, the Freedom Alliance was born. Genesis Island Lord's eyes lit up. He was in high spirits. When the Freedom Alliance was established, those universe lords who couldn't make it all came with their avatars. Our Freedom Alliance has a total of 298 powerful races and 433 masters of the universe. Once we join forces, no matter if it's the Allied forces or the human camp, they won't be able to do anything to us. The humans have will-impacting treasures, and both factions have palace-type ultimate treasures. But what can we do? Once the willpower impact treasure is exposed, its weakness will be known. As for the supreme treasure of the palace, as long as 10 to 20 masters of the universe work together, they can easily resist the Black Prison Pagoda, Empress Palace, and Star Pagoda. Even if humans become powerful in the future, so what? The human race currently had less than 20 universe lords. Even if they had 100 in the future, even if the ancient civilization was heaven-defying and the humans had 300 universe lords, so what? Our Freedom Alliance has more than 400 universe lords, and as time passes, that number will only increase. No matter what, even if humans become powerful in the future, we will have the power to protect ourselves. As long as we work together, then it's destined that no one will be able to do anything to us, whether it's now or in the future. So, this war between the Allied forces and the human camp isn't a crisis. Instead, it's an opportunity for the Freedom Alliance, a powerful opportunity. The voice of the Genesis Island Lord rang out in the ears of every lord of the universe, drawing out their desires. They had desires too, and desires. Previously, they had been too weak to ask for much. But now, they only needed to look at their surroundings, at the densely packed thrones, and at the 400 or so majestic figures of the lords of the universe. And they were filled with confidence. What kind of power was this? With such great power, he should obtain even more. As time passed, the lords of the universe, who had joined the humans, continued to break away. It was the same for the Allied forces. After half a month, finally, no universe lords left. At this point, the number of powerful races in the Freedom Alliance had risen to 298, and the number of universe lords had reached 433. This power shocked the Allied forces and the human camp. They felt endless pressure. Demon territory, blood-tooth planet. The wills of the 6 strongest experts of the universe, as well as the Galaxy Lord, the Black Lotus Lord, and the Green Mist Star Lord's clones, were all gathered here. With the alliance of our 6 forces, even if we include the universe lords who relied on us during this period of time, many universe lords who relied on us have left. This has caused our allied forces to have less than 400 universe lords. Even with a few of the strongest experts of the universe, we can barely match the Freedom Alliance. And it's hard to determine the loyalty of our vassal races. Even if there's a war, some of them must stay within the small-scale universe. This is to prevent the universe lords from betraying us at a critical moment. So the combat power we can unleash will instead be weaker than the Freedom Alliance. What do? Agree to their conditions? The upper echelons of the Allied forces exchanged glances. The Freedom Alliance had indeed come to state their conditions. The conditions were simple. 1. In the future, if they obtained the ancient civilization's inheritance from the human race, they would naturally share it. This was without a doubt. 2. Give the Freedom Alliance 2 ultimate treasures, and the Freedom Alliance would directly join the Allied forces. 2 ultimate treasures. This Freedom Alliance really dares to ask. This war with the human race isn't just for us. It will also benefit them in the future. To think they would ask for 2 ultimate treasures from us. Is there even a need to ask? With the same conditions, the Freedom Alliance would naturally be more willing to join the human race. Because once they join the human race will definitely win. Plus, the human race can give them the ancient civilization's inheritance experience. So, of course, they would be more willing to join the human race. Giving us such ridiculous conditions is just deliberate, right? They should have given the humans their conditions and are waiting for their reply. Ultimate treasures. The Northern Frontier Alliance, the Prison Race, and the Crystal Race don't have any ultimate treasures. Only the Demon Race, the Insectoid Race, and the Automaton Race have ultimate treasures. There are only 4 in total. Give them 2. What a joke. Don't be anxious. The humans will give them an answer. If they refuse, then it will be much easier for us to negotiate with the Freedom Alliance. This condition can also be lowered. The Allied army was helpless. The human race was also in a bad state. We need to discuss this internally. Once there is a result, we will naturally reply. The Primal Chaos City Master said. Then the Freedom Alliance will wait for your reply. A silhouette that looked like a stream of water turned into a beam of light and flew out of the Primal Secret region. Moments later, within the main hall, the human race's universe masters gathered. The Freedom Alliance's emissary has already come. The Primal Chaos City Master said directly, "The conditions are as high as we thought. From Universe Master to the strongest in the universe, as well as cultivating to the pinnacle of the strongest in the universe. The entire process of the ancient civilization's inheritance experience. We have to give them a portion first before they will join. After the war, we will give them another portion. This is the first situation. The second situation, we have to at least give them the ancient civilization's inheritance experience from Universe Master to the strongest in the universe. That is why they won't help either side. If not, they will join the Allied army." The moment the Primal Chaos City Master said this, the hall was filled with angry curses. These random races really dare to mention it. They really have the guts. How can they not have the guts? With so many universe lords, they naturally have the guts. Not helping either side, and even asking for the universe lord to the strongest in the universe to share the ancient civilization's training experience. In an instant, the human universe lords were all filled with rage. However, so what if they were angry? The initiative was with the Freedom Alliance. I'll push this matter aside for now. There's no rush to reply to them. The Primal Chaos City Master said, "Let's see if there's any chance." The humans indeed didn't wish to easily share their experiences. After all, no matter how simple the ancient civilization's experience was, they had to show a portion to the Freedom Alliance Universe Lords. Only when they felt that they had gained something would they come to help. To let them gain something was equivalent to helping them. The Freedom Alliance was already strong. The moment they received the experience, they would become even stronger. There's no rush. It's also the most crucial time. Our human race's final secret has to be told to you all. The Primal Chaos City Master looked around at the Universe Lords. Final secret? In an instant, there was silence. Luo Feng and the others were all shocked. Primal Chaos. What other secrets does our human race have? Senior, Primal Chaos. All of them were at a loss. After all, these were the highest echelons of humanity. The Primal Chaos City Master looked at Luo Feng, Darkness Lord, Desolate Mirror Lord, and the others, saying slowly, "Back then the primal ancestor roamed the universe sea, absolutely invincible. After which, he decided to walk a dangerous path. He knew this path was dangerous. Hence, he first waited for huge acts to break through and become the strongest warrior in the universe. Following which, he left behind a protective technique for our human race. Only after that did he walk that path. Finally, he was forever suppressed by the primal universe laws. Luo Feng and the other's eyes gleamed. I've always been guarding the primal region. This is our human territory's final line of defense. Luo Feng, Darkness, Peng Gong, you guys are battling with the other races. I'll be here. If I don't have any techniques, why would I be here? The primal Chaos City Master said, at this crucial time, I'll let you know the most important secret. Follow me. The primal Chaos City Master turned. Luo Feng and the others exchanged glances. They couldn't help but feel a sense of glee as they followed the primal Chaos City Master. The 3rd chapter has ended. Tomato will go write the 4th chapter. If you like this work, please come to vote for me. Your support is my greatest motivation. Chapter 1323. Luo Feng and the group of Universe Lords followed the primal Chaos City leader out from the side door. As they walked along the walkway, they could see a huge ship behind the palaces in the distant Thousand Treasure River, the tomb boat. Senior, where are we going? Darkness Lord asked. Even he, as a junior, didn't know what the ancestor had left behind. Let's board the tomb boat. The primal Chaos City leader turned and said, even though this is the core of the primal region, there are many other Universe Lords here. To prevent information from leaking out, it's better to enter the tomb boat and let you all take a closer look. Luo Feng listened and could only suppress his curiosity. After a while, he entered the Thousand Treasure River, which was 100 billion kilometers long, floating on the tomb boat. The tomb boat is indeed a treasure. The primal Chaos City leader entered through the cabin door and couldn't help but compliment, even though it has a weakness of not being able to attack. In terms of defense, especially when it's attacked by the universe's strongest, it can still easily withstand it. At this point, even the absolute treasure's palaces can't compare to it. With it, our race's final universe passage will be safe and sound. Darkness Lord, Prung Worker Lord, Dragon Travel Lord, and the others all nodded. Luo Feng laughed too. Right. The ancestor was eternally suppressed. The primal universe passage that connected the primal universe to the universe was destroyed. There was no way to build a new one. Even with the Star Pagoda and Black Prison Pagoda, if they were attacked, they would still be blasted away, unable to protect the passage. However, the tomb boat was much more stable. In the cosmic sea, the strongest experts of the universe who have reached the 7th and 8th grades can't do anything to the tomb boat, even when they launch a collective attack, much less in the primal universe. Luo Feng was very confident. The tomb boat reached 100 billion kilometers long. It directly protected the passage within a huge cabin. It was absolutely safe. In one of the halls of the grave ship, humanity and the group of Universe Lords were gathered here. Let's do it here. The primal Chaos City leader smiled. Luo Feng and the group looked on expectantly. Since the ancestor left behind the protection of the race, he definitely put in all his effort. Naturally, it wasn't normal. Look carefully. The primal Chaos City leader's gaze swept past every single Universe Lord, after which he extended his palm seriously. At that moment, everyone stared at the city leader's palm. Suddenly, an item appeared in the city leader's right palm. A treasure energy spread out. This is... Luo Feng stared wide-eyed. Master Peng was puzzled. What is this? The Master of Darkness was also puzzled. All of them looked puzzled. In the palm of the city leader's right hand, a sculpture-like object appeared. There was a fake mountain, a lake, and a wooden house. The mountain, the water, the house naturally made Luo Feng and the others feel extremely natural. But no matter how natural it was like a work of art. Although it gave off the aura of a cardinal treasure, this aura was very ordinary. It was probably just an ordinary cardinal treasure or a high-grade cardinal treasure. If it was as powerful as a supreme treasure, it would be fine if it was restrained. However, once it was released, its aura would be extremely oppressive. Teacher, Luo Feng couldn't help but look at the primal Chaos City leader. Chaos, what is this? This is the clan protection treasure left behind by the ancestor? It can't be. This definitely isn't an absolute treasure. It's still a clan protection. They all looked curiously at the city leader. The primal Chaos City leader smiled as he looked at Luo Feng and the others, saying, I'll use my God energy to activate it. You will know the power of this treasure." Following which, threads of God energy began to burn in his palm. The energy immediately poured into the treasure, and immediately it floated and swiftly grew. After which, within the palace, a continuous 10,000 kilometers tall mountain range appeared. At the foot of the mountain was a 100 kilometers tall wooden house, and before it was a 1,000 kilometers wide lake. Come! The primal chaos city leader's body swiftly shrunk to 10 kilometers tall. Luo Feng and the others all shrunk and followed beside the city leader, walking along the lakeside and quickly arriving before the wooden house. "Primal chaos, what's the power of this treasure?" Master Peng asked. "I haven't activated the engravings yet. Naturally, I can't unleash its power." The primal chaos city leader stood by the lakeside. Simultaneously, a silhouette appeared beside him. It was the barefooted figure wielding the mottled and scarred stone rod. "Clone!" Luo Feng and the others were shocked. "This treasure is slightly complicated. It requires both my body and this clone to work together and provide enough God energy to activate it," the primal chaos city leader explained. After which, the huge clone wielding the mottled and scarred stone rod walked with big steps towards the distant mountain range. As he touched the mountain range, he actually merged into it. The primal chaos city leader himself too walked into the lake, stepping on the surface and walking to the center. Wong wong wong. Suddenly, the distant mountain range began to ripple with an incredibly powerful energy. One could only see a barely discernible engraving flash in the surrounding space, following which a green color extended from the mountain range towards the sky, immediately covering the entire area above. It was as if a green sky had been formed. Rumble, the lake water trembled, the ground shook. Simultaneously, the barely discernible engraving flowed and disappeared. The endless land extended, forming a gray land. The green sky, gray land, the moment they touched, the first point of contact was that wooden house. Ong! The wooden house suddenly let out a glaring light. The light shone brightly, endless light, enveloping every inch of the land and skies. Moreover, the azure sky and the gray earth were constantly intertwining with each other to produce power, converging and transforming into this boundless light. Under the shine of this light, Luo Feng, the Darkness Emperor, and the Dragon Emperor all revealed looks of shock, because just being shown on them made them feel a huge pressure. What powerful energy! Luo Feng and the others were shocked. This treasure was personally created by my teacher back then after spending countless amounts of blood and sweat. The primal Chaos City Master stood on the lake in the distance, reminiscing about the past. The mountain range, land, lake, wooden huts, etc. are actually made up of 36,200 parts. Every part is made up of high-quality materials, but the secret techniques used to construct it are very simple. Only after combining them can it be systematized. Mountain range, lake, wooden huts, these three systems finally form this world. Back then, my teacher once said, "This is the origin of the universe." This treasure is called the universe in a palm. Just like this is this simplified, small-sized universe. The primal Chaos City leader said confidently, "As long as it's within the region my universe palm can control, I can instantly use the power of the universe palm to simultaneously unleash 2 pinnacle level 6 attacks. Also, its area of effect can reach a maximum of 1 light year." Luo Feng and the others were all dumbfounded. This was even more powerful than a domain-type treasure. Normal domain-type treasures within their domain, they could indeed instantly control the domain to attack. However, in the hands of a universe lord, it couldn't possibly reach the pinnacle of level 6 power, because the domain-type treasure's main function was to suppress it. In the hands of the universe's strongest, they could use the domain-type treasure to unleash their own powerful techniques. Only then would they be able to reach the pinnacle of level 6. However, even then, they could only unleash it once at a time, and the primal Chaos City leader could unleash it twice at once. It was as though 2 of the universe's strongest were attacking at the same time, and they could instantly appear anywhere within 1 light-year. This is the simplified mini-universe. The moment it's within this area, it's like being in a mini-universe. The primal chaos city leader said, and I am its controller. With just a thought, I can attack my target. Even if the universe's strongest were to fall into my hands, I can make him feel extreme pain. He might not even be able to escape within a short period of time. It's just that this universe palm's strongest attack is only at the pinnacle of level 6. In the universe C, it's the same. The primal chaos city leader said, hence, in the primal universe, it's even more advantageous. My teacher created it back then to protect the race. With it, even if 2 or 3 universes' strongest attacked, they would still be at a disadvantage. My teacher's ability to create treasures, even though he can at most create high-level treasures, using so many treasures to create this treasure, it's indeed far beyond my imagination. The darkness leader, dragon leader, desolate mirror leader, and the others were all stunned. Personally, creating a treasure that was even more powerful than a domain-type treasure? Of course, in the universe C, it wouldn't be as powerful as an absolute treasure. Automaton. Luo Feng was shocked within. This is the thought process of automaton. These large amounts of small parts, finally forming the 3 great systems. It's actually very similar to the Killer Wu wings. The Killer Wu wings were formed from large amounts of parts, separated into the white wings, 5 pairs of wings, and the source. And this universe palm is also formed from the combination of parts. The core of the transformation is that wooden house. In terms of complexity, this universe palm is even more complicated. Luo Feng was shocked. Of course, the universe in the palm belonged to a low-level mechanical treasure. Just the civilization level of the source far surpassed the universe in the palm. However, in terms of structure, the Killer Wu Wing system was actually very simple. While the universe palm was much more complicated, the primal chaos city leader needed 2 great bodies to activate it. Of course, in terms of complexity, it couldn't even compare to the tomb boat or the universe boat. However, what was clear was this was an automaton treasure, hence it looked ordinary, but in truth it was able to explode with such power, and its power was at the pinnacle of level 6. Even after entering the universe C, it was still the same. One is the sky, one is the earth, one is the heart of the land. Peng Gong said slowly. Darkness, light, origin. The master of darkness said slowly. The various lords of the universe looked at this simplified universe. Luo Feng looked too. Even though it was automaton, the techniques within the universe palm were the workings of the universe, and it was much more profound than his own miniature universe. The gathering of time and space, the birth of a universe. Luo Feng looked at the land and skies, the endless green sky, gray land, and the gathering point of the wooden house emitting an endless glaring gold light. All of this seemed to contain the laws of the universe, the true workings of the origin laws. Luo Feng was completely immersed within. Ever since he had reached the pinnacle of the universe night, he had been unable to break through. However, at this time, inspiration flashed through his mind. Luo Feng looked up. Slowly, he revealed a smile. The 4th chapter has arrived. He continued writing the 5th chapter. To be continued. If you like this work, please come to Chidian. Come to vote for me. Your support is my greatest motivation. Chapter 1324. A floating mountain range, lake, wooden house. With it, as the center, the vast space around it was all under its control. Just this mountain, lake, wooden house, its largest area of control could reach a diameter of 1 light-year. This was such a vast area. Within this area, with a thought, one could unleash a pinnacle level 6 power. Powerful, it's simply too powerful. In the primal universe, it's even stronger than the absolute treasures. It's just that controlling it is slightly more complicated, requiring the 2 great primal chaos bodies to control it together. A simplified, small universe? How did the ancestor do it? I don't understand. I don't understand at all. Indeed, the ancestor, to be able to create the virtual universe, His understanding of the universe's operations must have reached an extremely terrifying level. Hence, he was able to create this treasure, the universe in the palm. The universe lords were all shocked. This universe in the palm affected an area of time and space, completely isolating it from the outside world. They were all shocked and intoxicated by it. Luo Feng. Luo Feng. Immediately, someone realized something was wrong with Luo Feng. He was still smiling before, but after closing his eyes, he emitted a peculiar energy. "Don't disturb Luo Feng," the Darkness Lord shouted. Within the human race, many didn't know that Luo Feng was only a universe knight. However, the Lord of Darkness knew about it. "Don't tell me he's about to break through?" The Darkness Lord thought. Not just him. Even the distant primal Chaos City leader who was standing on the lake noticed Luo Feng's special state. He couldn't help but feel anticipation within. Is my disciple about to break through? Luo Feng's techniques had already reached the universe's strongest level. His origin law comprehension had long reached the limit, and he had long comprehended the beast god heart. It could be said he had met all the requirements, and his body was constantly training in the inheritance space. With 10,000 times time flow, he had trained for many years. Luo Feng's accumulations were simply too abundant. No matter how slow it was, he would definitely break through after a few decades in the outside world. If he was fast, he could break through at any time. This breakthrough could happen when he was excited or touched, or watching the space revolve, or during a life or death battle. Anyways, he might have a flash of inspiration or comprehension and break through. The universe in the palm was a treasure. Luo Feng couldn't understand the Wu killer wings. He couldn't understand the tomb boat because they were too profound. However, the universe in the palm was very close to him. He had already created the universe's strongest level technique. This universe in the palm only contained the limits of the universe's strongest. Luo Feng could vaguely feel it. With this touch, it caused the bottleneck he'd been stuck in for so long to instantly break through. "Teacher," Luo Feng suddenly opened his eyes. The Chaos City Master looked over. The Master and disciple's eyes met, and they both understood. The primal Chaos City Master couldn't hide the excitement on his face. His disciple's strength was heaven-defying. He was already so strong even before breaking through. If he were to achieve a breakthrough, it would be of great help to him in the upcoming final battle. "I'll head out for a bit," Luo Feng said. "Go." The primal Chaos City Master nodded. At the same time, he stopped using the universe in the palm. Shwa! Luo Feng teleported and vanished. Luo Feng's God Country. It was so vast that it could be said to be endless. Hua! The endless tranquil sea unceasingly rippled. Even though there was no wind, 3 feet of waves rose. This endless tranquil sea had a diameter of over 80 billion kilometers. It was deep and vast, and the ordinary waves were astonishingly large. With this endless sea, along with the God Country support, even the universe's strongest would be at a disadvantage if they attacked. The originally calm God Country. When Luo Feng broke through his bottleneck within the tomb boat, rumble! The primal universe origin laws immediately descended. That endless pressure enveloped the entire God Country. The originally calm, endless sea immediately began to rumble. A figure suddenly appeared in the endless tranquil sea. It was the Serene Sea Clone. The Serene Sea Clone raised his head to look at the sky. In the sky above the endless tranquil sea, an incomparably huge whirlpool had appeared. There were black and white whirlpools. There were circles of huge whirlpools. They were vast and endless, and they contained boundless power. Knowing that he had broken through, Luo Feng immediately caused the ocean clone from before to collapse, after which he immediately formed a new one. This was the fastest way to return to the God Country. "I've broken through." Luo Feng's ocean clone immediately flashed and teleported to the edge of the endless sea. This energy, it's too terrifying. Luo Feng looked at the huge whirlpool with a diameter of over 100 billion kilometers. It was different from the five-colored whirlpool when he broke through to the universe night. This time was black and white alternating. A huge black whirlpool. Within it was a white whirlpool, and within it was a black whirlpool, white whirlpool, black whirlpool, white whirlpool, one circle after another. It emitted an overwhelming pressure. In the center of the whirlpool was a pathway that connected the universe origin law ocean to Luo Feng's God country. The crucial moment. Luo Feng immediately understood. It was the most crucial moment of his breakthrough, swallowing God energy. The endless sea was so huge. To increase his God energy required a very long time. And the larger the body, the stronger the recovery. Even if a universe lord instantly self-destructed, the rate at which he used up his God energy was far from the endless sea's recovery speed. As the body grew, the energy grew, and the recovery speed was shocking. Hence, at the beginning, the endless sea's growth was very slow. From 10 billion kilometers to 20 billion kilometers, it took a long time. From 20 billion kilometers to 80 billion kilometers, it was much faster. However, compared to the future, it was still much slower. The further one went, the faster the speed would rise. Otherwise, even the Nine Abyss Lord wouldn't have such a huge Nine Abyss ocean. Luo Feng was about to become a universe lord. His endless sea, compared to the Nine Abyss ocean, was still much weaker. Hence, naturally, he had to treasure this opportunity. The time limit for swallowing God energy is limited. I have to use the highest efficiency, Luo Feng thought. Rumble, at the core of the black and white whirlpool, the whirlpool passageway with a diameter of tens of billions of kilometers poured out torrents of divine power. Rumble. It was as though the sea was collapsing. The speed at which the seawater poured out was terrifying. It was much faster than when Luo Feng broke through to the universe night level. I'll absorb. Luo Feng used all his willpower to control the endless sea, madly absorbing, immediately converting. His divine power, which was originally at the 10,000 times Gene Venerable level, immediately increased by 100 times, reaching the 10,000 times Lord of the Universe level. Swallowing, converting, the speed at which the whirlpool pathway poured the God energy was completely related to Luo Feng's endless sea devouring speed. If the devouring speed was fast enough, naturally the pouring speed would be even faster. Convert. Luo Feng used all his strength to control. He could feel the benefits of having a strong willpower. His strong willpower also greatly increased the conversion efficiency. However, no matter how much it increased, it was still not enough. After a while, the entire God country regained its calm. The primeval universe origin laws had already retreated, and the God energy could only be swallowed for a short period of time. My endless sea has a diameter of 80 billion kilometers. Luo Feng stood in the air above it. Just now, the amount of God energy converted reached about 15% of my endless sea's volume. Luo Feng estimated that the entire endless sea's diameter was about 80 billion kilometers, of which over 40 billion kilometers had already been converted, about 15% of the total volume. In terms of efficiency, it was already very high. After all, the endless sea was simply too huge. The last time I broke through to the universe night, the conversion rate was 12%. This time it's actually higher. Luckily, my willpower broke through. If it wasn't at the universe's strongest level, the amount of God energy I can convert would be much less. Luo Feng immediately descended. Plop. Falling into the endless sea, it automatically disintegrated and assimilated into the endless sea. Very quickly, a new ocean clone was formed in the endless sea. This one was close to 10,000 kilometers tall. Its God energy level was also 1,000 times Universe Lord level. Compared to when Luo Feng was still at the Universe Night level, his God energy was 10 times higher. Hua. The entire endless sea was still resonating with the distant universe origin laws ocean, absorbing the God energy and working hard to convert the entire ocean. However, this speed couldn't compare to before. Xiao. Show. 3 beams of light appeared simultaneously in the God country, becoming 3 beams of light high up in the sky, flying freely. At the same time, waves of God energy swiftly flew out from the ghost ocean below, directly wrapping around the 3 God bodies above. The 3 God bodies were the Earth body, the Golden Horned Beast, and the Masha clansman. In an instant, the 3 bodies began to transform. The Earth body and the Golden Horned Beast God power immediately increased by 100 times, reaching the 10,000 times universe Lord Gene level. The Masha clansman too increased by 100 times, reaching 100 times universe Lord level. This Masha clansman of mine, in terms of God energy, is already comparable to my original body. The Earth body, the Golden Horned Beast, the Masha clansman, and the Serene Sea clone were all filled with fighting spirit. Their God energy replenished. Like the Earth body and Golden Horned Beast, even if they wielded the pinnacle treasures, they could still unleash pinnacle level 6 strength. The Masha clansman wielded the Blood Shadow Blade. That too had pinnacle level 6 strength. The Serene Sea clone had many techniques. Right now there are 2 things. Luo Feng's 4 bodies all flew to the core of the God country. In the plaza before the shrine, the 4 of them spread out and sat. The Golden Horned Beast lay down. The first is the Masha clansman. After reaching the universe Lord level, the Masha clansman will no longer face the bottleneck of 100 times. It can be raised to 1,000 times, even 10,000 times. As for the materials to raise it, I prepare them all. Luo Feng thought. The Masha clansman wasn't a flesh and blood life form. It couldn't train the 9 Secrets manual. It could only be like normal universe lords. Only after reaching the universe lord level would it be able to raise it by 100 times. The second is my God country. After breaking through to the universe lord level, it's more complete. Luo Feng looked at his vast God country. The God country was slowly transforming. The size was secondary. The more important thing was that the structure of the God country was getting more stable and close to its limit. One had to know that after this transformation, the next breakthrough would be the breakthrough from the God country to the small universe level. This would be the ultimate level of the God country. 5 chapters completed. Before the final battle, Luo Feng had finally stepped into the universe lord level. At the same time, an early notice. As usual, I'll be updating at night tomorrow. I'll definitely be sleeping in. And according to the usual practice, after 5 chapters, I'll be getting recommendation votes. Working hard at 5 chapters, of course I have to get votes. Everyone has to vote too. Asterisk, to be continued. If you like this work, please come Come to vote for me. Your support is my greatest motivation.